exam success shall be unleashed. Vested on me. Alongside my co-moderators, Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe, we hereby declare the meeting open. So thank you so much, everybody, and welcome to May 2024, end of the diet edition of ICAN Online Tutor, where we shall be sensitizing ourselves on what is actually required to succeed the ICAN exam. Today, before I go, I would like to quickly introduce some of my speakers, but above all, I first like to introduce the brain behind all these successes. I love to call him innovative director, because tell me, what would have been if we didn't have an innovative creator like that can actually take the learning to our convenience and bring it to us at our doorstep. And also, I shall also be introducing those that has actually supported the journey and make it a fun journey for us at ICAN Online Tutor, who are our tutors, and as well as our admin and our back-end supports. Without failing to also appreciate the support of each and every one of you for the trust you actually have in us and for really making the diet a successful one amidst all the challenges and turbulence. So my dear all, permit me to open the floor for this diet for this diet sensitization, May 2024. And before I actually take the opening remark, let me quickly introduce to you Mr. Ridwan Teslim Layeni, and I shall be doing the introduction as we progress. However, for us to have the opening remark, permit me, like I said earlier, to introduce and also welcome on board the great founder, a professor that likes to hide, an achiever, and soon to be confirmed awardee, Mr. Ridwan Teslim Layeni. Have the pleasure to let you know that Mr. Ridwan Teslim Layeni Idowu is also a chartered accountant. If it's not a chartered accountant, how can all these things come to play? How will he even understand how the exam looks like? How will he know the pains that students are going through when you complain? How will he even be able to gather all this if he does not have the foundation of that process? At least for us to know that someone is a chartered accountant, we already know that you already have the thought process. He has also passed through the process. So Mr. Ridwan Layeni is a chartered accountant and a serial entrepreneur and tech enthusiast with many years of experience in e-commerce, edutech, finance, management, consulting, admin, auditing, accounting, and tax, etc. It's actually the brain behind and the pioneer of the fast rising best online tuition centers in Nigeria, ICAN Online Tutor, who posed to be the first and foremost leading academic community with the highest participants in every diet, and with a kudos to successful passing rate with a great testimony across the world and not just in Nigeria. This can be gauged from the fact that many testimony is coming from Canada, Europe, England. What is England and Europe? I don't know the same. Yeah, UK, as we have the student therein. And Also, not just among the civilians, I can confirm to you that even among the military personnel, you can actually confirm that. He's also the head of accounting and auditing department in a conglomerate company, Coca and Bros Integrated Service Limited. My dear all, please, let's welcome our CEO and founder of ICAN Online Tutor, Mr. Ridwan Isa Layeni Idowu. Good morning, sir.
Hello,
good
sir.
Morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Abiyomi. And
you are welcome, sir. Trust you are having a great day, sir.
Yes, I have.
Yes, sir. If I don't know if it will be convenient for you to actually share your screen, because my people would like to actually see your face.
Okay,
Do I have such permission?
I'll do that so very soon. Okay, just hold on.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so can they see my face now? Because
many people has actually been hearing the voices, but they did not actually, they can't match the voice with the face. And they have actually been chatting me and messaging me that they would love to see your face, sir.
Okay, now that's me that's the little me.
Wait, sir, they can still see me.
But with the picture, I guess they already know, they know me already. So, but of course, for those that want
everybody, I think you can see him clearly now.
I want to see the most recent version.
Oh. You can see him?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can.
I can see him from here.
Yes, sir. Please share your screen.
Like
I think it's because you are using video. Please, sir, share your screen.
We can see him.
Okay. You can see him.
We can see him.
The video.
I see him.
I cannot see him.
You can see him.
We
can see him. Yeah. Hi, Mr. Teslim. Good morning.
You can see him. You see that he's very handsome, right?
Yeah.
Don't come to my DM.
Yes.
I will give you his number.
It is nice to see your face.
Thank you so
much, sir. Sir, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yomi.
Yes, sir, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself, sir. Okay. Who is this? Please unmute yourself, sir.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay,
yes, we can hear now.
So thank you so much, Mr. Yomi, and thank you everyone for joining this session. I really appreciate. I can see a lot of people were able to join the session, and we are still expecting much more people, at this event. We cherish you guys, the IoT team. We are all like a family, and you guys are what make IoT. Without you guys, there will be nothing like IoT. And I always say this story that when we started some years ago, you understand, we just had very few students and everything. Well, then we were optimistic, and with hard work, dedication, support, we were able to achieve a lot within the short time. And I have to give kudos to the rest of the IoT team, and most importantly, you students, because there are sometimes you have to be patient with us. You acknowledge our imperfection, and you understand when we say, this is the problem, please bear with us, we will fix it. And because of this, we have been able to go on diet and diet. Thank you all. May God bless you for doing that. So I will go ahead and read out my speech to everyone. So let me also share it so that you can also follow along. So Mr. Yomi, do I have the permission to share my screen?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Okay, and thanks so much for that, sir.
Okay. Okay. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yes.
sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
We can.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because it looks like my screen is frozen now. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes,
Can
we
you see my
can, sir.
screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, okay, all right, thank you. So good morning, everyone. I'm happy to see so many ambitious and dedicated individuals gathered here today, all with the passion of becoming chartered accountants. This profession is not just about figures and posting. It is about being it is about being a trusted advisor, a strategic partner, and a guardian of financial integrity. As you embark on this challenging yet rewarding journey, remember that professional accountancy is a badge of excellence, a symbol of expertise, and a commitment to upholding the highest ethical standards. Throughout your studies and professional development, you will encounter obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But I urge you to persevere, to learn from your mistakes, and to draw strength from your peers and mentors. As chartered accountants, you will have the power to shape businesses, drive economic growth, and make positive impact on society. So let us begin this journey together with passion, purpose, and a shared vision for excellence. Lastly, I foresee a new era of accountancy boom as the world drives towards AI and robotics. There is no better time to be in the accounting and finance industry than now. The benefits are enormous and will be much more than this in the future. I urge you to make ale while the sun shines. I wish you all a productive, educative, and thought-provoking session. Best wishes in your examination and future endeavors. Thank you and do have a lovely day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much, sir, for that wonderful
Thank you,
remarks.
sir.
Didn't that
You're
deserve
welcome.
an applause? Oh my God, my people are still sleeping. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
sir.
So my dear,
Thank you, sir.
we are here as our this thing we say. They will say that we are here from the horse's mouth, and by now we are now good to actually start the program fully. And also, we promises to manage your time efficiently. Okay, let me quickly welcome us once again, and let us know again that today we are actually nailing everything that has to do with the challenges you might actually be confronting in ICAN, in preparing for your ICAN exam. And today is actually the 1st of May, which make it 14 days, exact 14 days to your ICAN exam, -1, that is 13 days. And what is the first thing, which is actually the most crucial question everyone are looking up to, is for the next 2 weeks, which is 14 days to my exam, what do I really need to do to pass this my ICAN exam? These questions always comes from the angles of my professionals who are writing, who have 5 papers to write, especially for SFM, taxation, corporate reporting, AAA, and case study. Some people even, the exam even looks like a zigzag for some people. Some do not even have and do not even know the direction that they should follow for the exam. For my colleagues that are in skills level, the performance management looks like a mountain Everest to cross. Why the financial reporting is not even reporting? And some CSME is not even cooperating at all, let alone of even having a governance in it. Why public sector is not even setting, How do we really go about this? Just as the foundation are finding it, they think they are finding it difficult for the management information, and the government keeps using a law on us for business law. But who are those that are really going to shed light on this and give us a direction? They are actually the industry experts. Those that really understand the job and really know how to take it to the next phase. Before I actually introduce them, Mr. Yanda Abdulwasi, are you there? Just say hi. Mr. Yanda, can I hear hi? Mr. Yanda, are you there? Yes, please submit yourself if you can hear me. Mr. Yanda Abdulwasi, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, sir.
Miss Boluwatife, are you there? Miss Boluwatife,
Yes, sir.
are you there? How are you doing today?
Good morning, everyone.
Mr.
I'm good.
Uwem. Wow, this is selected from. I love that. Mr. Uwem, are you there? Mr. Uwem Amos.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everyone. I'm here.
Good morning. I know you. I think, Mr. Uwem, I think you know that you'll be doing a double job for me today. Thank you, boss. Mr. Gooding Michael, are you there? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you the tags. Okay.
Good morning.
My people,
good morning, everyone.
I actually have my panel on standby. But before I actually introduce them to us, let me let you know whom they are. And by so doing, you could actually pay attention to them. Like I said earlier, I told you that they are actually the industry experts. And my speaker that shall be doing the justice for me for 2 weeks to the exam, what do I really need to pass the exam? And Mr. Inyanda Abdulwasiu, Mr. Ogudingham Olukule Michael, Miss Boluwatife Abolani, and Mr. Uwem Amos. I have the pleasure to let us know that Mr. Uwem Amos is a BSc holder in accounting, a master's in treasury management. Is a member of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, an associate member of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Is also an associate member of that Global Accountancy, ACCA, and also a certified information system auditor, CISA. Is also a certified internal auditor, CIA, and also a certified fraud examiner. In case you actually want to coin him, you can actually be what? Arrested, because he's a certified fraud examiner. It's not arrested, it's not an officer. Mr. Uwem Amos has over 13 years experience in the financial services and currently the lead tutor in SFM and PM respectively. That's why I told you that he shall be doing justice for me in 2 ways, because I have double tax for him. And it will not only be talking on SFM and PM, because I said he have double tax. I shall unleash the double tax that I have for him. And Mr. Uwem Amos, what I love in him is he always have his saying that says that until you are ready to pay the price, do not dream of success. You see that words? I always underline it because it goes beyond just writing. Mr. Uwem Amos, good morning. How are you doing today? Mr. Uwem Amos, good morning. How are you doing today? You can unmute your mic. Okay, while Mr. Uwem Amos is trying to unmute his mic, let me quickly introduce my other panelists, Mr. Inyanda Abdulwasiu. Mr. Inyanda Abdulwasiu is a chartered accountant of the Institute of Nigeria, ICAN. Is also a member of ACCA and a graduate member, a graduate of accountancy from Kwara State University, where he actually have a BSc in accounting. Mr. Nyanda Abdulwasiu is a phenomenon that actually chartered while he's still undergraduate student in KWASU. And he has already become a chartered accountant even before he graduated from accounting department in KWASU. KWASU is Kwara State University in Ilorin. Mr. Abdulwasi is also an alumni of Gampat University in India, where he actually studied information technology audit. And Abdulwasi is an experienced teacher with a track record of past success, and he's a good team player who is a result-driven with sound knowledge and experience in finance, audit, tax, and management consulting. So you can actually call him industry consultant. Mr. Abdulwasi, good morning. How are you doing today? What's happening
Morning,
to
sir, and good morning, everyone. I'm fine.
Okay, good morning. It's good to hear your voice again. Please just try to be sharing your camera. My people say they actually want to see your face. Okay, I'm passing the ball to my next Miss Abolarin Boluwatife. Miss Abolarin Boluwatife is also a dynamic professional with a BSc degree in accounting. He actually boasts a successful career in the financial reporting, audit, and accounting. Miss Boluwatife haven't excelled at KPMG Nigeria in the audit department and currently serves as the financial reporting officer at Inc. Digital Nigeria Limited. Ms. Boluwatife is also a chartered accountant and is also a financial modeler with a value analyst and associate accounting technician, that is your AAT. A commitment to excellent result-oriented approach and keen interest in artificial intelligence, research and development, networking, financial reporting, and audit actually position Boluwatife for a continued success in the dynamic corporate landscape. That is why she's always a smiling angel. Boluwatife, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm passing the ball to my next panelist, who is Ogudina Michael Olokunle. Mr. Ogudina Michael Olokunle is an astute finance professional. You can't hear me? Hello? Mr. Ogudina Olokunle Michael. Hello? Mr. Ogudina Michael Olokunle is an asset finance professional and a chartered accountant, and also a chartered member of CITN, Chartered Institute of Taxations in Nigeria, with a demonstrated track record in Microsoft Office, financial reporting and analysis. And Olokunle Michael have experience working with an insurance broker and a private maritime security PMS sector. Heart of the passion of Olokunle is to actually see people grow and in a bid to contribute to the world society. And it's also an astute lecturer.
Because I didn't check them.
My dear professional, join me as I welcome my panelists to discussing about what 2 weeks to the ICAN exam. What do I really need to do to pass the exam? What am I starting with? Permit me to start from Mr. Awim Amos. Mr. Awim, good morning, boss. How are you doing today? Mr. Awim, are you there? Mr. Amos, are you there, Mr. Awim? Hello, can somebody hear me? Is my voice muted? No, I'm not.
Mr.
Mr. Awe,
We
are you
can
here?
hear.
Okay,
I
thank you
hear
so
you,
much,
sir.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Why I'm actually waiting for Mr. Owen Amos. Mr. Yeda, good morning. How are you today?
Fine, sir.
Okay, Mr. Yeda, there is this notion that if you cannot, we have actually started, our ICAN exam is actually in 2 weeks' time. And up to now, I am yet to even have my direction on how to pass the exam. What do you really think students can do in this remaining 2 weeks to succeed in the ICAN exam? Good morning, sir.
All right, now, good morning and good morning, everyone. So,
Please, sir, Mr. Ida, you
uh,
may wish to share your screen. Where the need
no,
arise.
all right, no problem. I'll do that. So, good day, everyone, and thanks for joining as well. My name is Yoda Abdulwasiu, and I think I'll be part of the panelists as well. So, to my own experience, and one of the things like I would like to make mention first is just that
We can't
try
see
as
your
much
face,
as
sir.
possible.
Mr. Ida, we can't see your face.
All right, I think can you guys see me? I'm actually one. I think you
Why,
guys see my face now,
why are
right?
you looking like a woman and man together?
Can you guys see me now?
Yes, but it's blurry.
Yes,
We can't see you, sir.
All right.
Okay, right on, sir.
I know that.
All right.
Imagine, glad to see you in Yanda.
So, good day. Yeah, that's it. That's for sure. Because I love your voice. I think maybe during my last class in this diet, I think I'll hone my you can also see me also. So, one of the things that work, I think one of the things I'll say is just try as much as possible to really have work, really have confidence in yourself in terms of, I think you have voice, you have the exam very often or very close within few days. So the first thing I would just like to make mention is that just try as much as possible in terms of what believe in yourself that you can actually work, you can actually do it. Because when you have something that you want to do that is quite work, that is quite very close, the tendency is going to be there that I might be prepared.
This forward is
in
falling apart.
So what you just need to try as much as possible, which I'm going to open the floor with. Have the confidence in yourself, believe that you can always work, you can always do it. So no matter how it is, because sometimes you may have like 17 words.
Sorry, we really can't hear you. Is it me?
Mr.
You can't
Ida,
hear me?
please check
It's,
your
it's,
audio.
it's not clear. It's not clear.
All right, now please, just hold on. Okay, I think let me.
His voice is not clear. This is this. Yes.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, it's
Okay,
clear now.
so
Yes,
one
we
of the
can
things
hear.
that was, okay, now, right? Hello, hello, your mic.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right, now. So one of the first thing I would like to make mention is just try as much as possible. Have confidence in yourself. Believe that you can work, you can do it. At least let me open the floor with that. Have the confidence, even though the reading, you may be thinking that, okay, it's quite like a 2 weeks now that are you fully prepared, but don't be having some negative thought. Just have the positive thought. If you look at some of the past questions, sometimes you may see a lot of questions maybe between the first 6 chapters. And at least everybody you'll be familiar with chapter 1, chapter 2. So believe that word, even though you are not yet at chapter 20 or you are not at chapter 25 or like maybe your public sector like that, many chapters like that. So just believe that word, the little one that things can really work, things can really show up there. And that's one of the things that I think I always have, even though I'm not fully prepared. But the little that I know, just have the confidence that something can play around. And I can remember during my undergraduate then, which I always remember, there was a particular course I think I've shared with some of my students here before. I think that was network analysis. And I'm not really confident with network analysis in QA then. But the lecturer did not even ask us question on network. He just asked us assumption of what EOQ. And I have known the assumption of EOQ from my 8 years, from my TS3. So as a result of that, and me that I'm saying that I'm not prepared, maybe I'm even I'm very sure that I submit earlier. So because I know that I know some things, and as a result of that, you can still navigate it, and I still have A. So in terms of what I'm starting with, just try as much as possible. Have the confidence in yourself. You can do it. So let's start with that, Might, while we continue.
Okay. Thank you so much for that beautiful one. All right. Mr. Yenda is actually giving me a starting line by saying that you should have confidence in yourself and believe that you can do it. And also have a positive thought and not a negative one. Madam, Ms. Boluwatife, can you please, let's see your face too. Let me have my panelists on board. Let me have my panelists, please. Ms. Boluwatife. Good, kudos. I think people can see my panelists now. So if they see you outside, they will know how to even. Yeah, you are welcome, Mr. Uwem Amos. Let me quickly pass the mic to Mr. Uwem Amos. Mr. Uwem, good morning, boss.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Mr. Uwem, for the ICAN exam is actually in 2 weeks' time. And you are so fond of saying that until you are ready to pay the price, do not dream of success. Is there any price that needs to be paid for this remaining 2 weeks to the ICAN exam? That's the
Yes.
opening I have for you, sir.
Yes, definitely. Because we know what we are working for, so I know a number of us that are pursuing the ICAN exams, just like every other qualification, it is because you know that you're going to enjoy having that qualification. You know the reward that comes with that qualification. Maybe you're looking for a promotion. Maybe you're looking for another job, bigger job. So those basically are good motivation for us to want to make this sacrifice. So what are basically next weeks to exams? Next few weeks exams, see it as a period where we are meant to burn those night candles, where we are meant to make sacrifices. A number of things can wait. So we must be willing to let a number of things wait. When we will be willing to sacrifice our comfort. Granted, it's not easy to get up at night to say you want to read, or to come back from work and you're saying you're spending another 5-6 hours reading. But because you know that there is something better at the end of that period, you want to be able to make that that sacrifice, and that is what it really calls for, really, for the next 2 weeks. And one of the ways we could actually do that, for me, it's don't just leave your revision program to chance. You need to have a defined plan, a definite plan to tell yourself, this is what I want to accomplish every single day. If I get up today, this is what I want to accomplish. I want to cover this topic. I want to practice and attempt a past question on this topic, and you ensure that you achieve it that day. So don't leave it to chance, and be willing to make that sacrifice the next 2 weeks. And once you put in the hard work, you can be very sure that success is by the corner. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful one. So we should leave our comfort zone and ensure that we have a defined plan for every single day, and also ensure that we achieve that plan in each day. Wow. If that is the price, I think it's worth paying. Thank you so much for that wonderful one. Yeah, Madam Boluwatife, how are you doing today? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. I'm doing
The
great.
woman giant, always smiling. How are you doing? Boluwatife, as you can see that it is just 2 weeks to the exam. Which face? Okay, sorry for that. My face show, my shoe shine. Okay. I'm coming. I'm gonna set up. You can see. Good. Okay. Oluwatife, as you know that it is just 2 weeks to the ICAN exam, and just as many people has also been chatting you and bombarding you, what do you think that student can do to actually succeed the ICAN exam in the next 2 weeks?
Okay. Good morning, sir. Thank you for that question. So, one thing I would like to say is we need to create a study plan. It's 2 weeks to the exam, and like Mr. Imo said, we cannot leave it to chances. So, which means that if we plan on covering, for example, audit this week, have like a calendar, have a schedule. That is what I'm going to do each day. Make sure you complete it, because there is no time to keep on dragging things. If you need to read a particular chapter, if you need to be fast, put on. I remember when I was doing my exams, I had a calendar. Like now that is 2 weeks, you can just draft up calendar for each of the day. What are you going to read? What are you going to study? How are you going to cover these topics? How are you going to cover this course, so that you will meet up? I had some plans like a week to the exam, or 2 weeks. I will just be revising, which means that before I reach a week to the exam, I've made sure that I've read everything, just to keep on revising a week to the exam. Another thing I would say is students should be familiar with past questions, and not only familiar with past questions, they need to be familiar with the structures, how those questions are set. For example, after when you check the past question and check the solution, there is always examiner's comment on how many people passed, what made people fail. I always encourage students to read them, so that you will know that, okay, this is the area in which people are falling short. Okay, how can I improve in it? How can I know it better? So we need to know how the exam structure is. For example, each of the marks that has been allocated to each question, study how it's being answered. Study how 2 marks, 5 marks, 7 marks. Study how it is being answered. So when you study, it means that when you get to the exam, or you will know how to be strategic in answering your question. Because trust me, that 3 hours you are going in to answer the question, it will just shock you that the 3 hours will not be enough. Which means that the best thing for you, the best way for you to answer them is to be strategic. How am I going to answer it? Plan it out. How many minutes am I going to use for this question? How can I circulate this question so that I can finish on time? So these are the 2 tips I will give firstly. Is that your mic? Okay, well.
But fair for the insights. I think Mr. Yo might have stepped out, or probably is having a technical issue. So
Okay,
while we
sir.
wait for him to join, I will give the floor to Mr. Ogudu Olukunle to give his insights on what students need to do in the next 2 weeks for them to be successful in their exams. Quickly, Mr. Ogudu. You're muted, sir. Mr. Ogudu, seems you are muted.
Thank you very. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. In the next 2 weeks, I believe you've heard that you should have a calendar. One thing I'm going to mention is, please take care of your health. Your health is quite important. It takes. I'm going to tell you that in your exam, you need 2 things: retentive memory, and then your ability to think through. A stressed person cannot think through in the exam. So in the next 2 weeks, normalize rest, normalize your thought process, normalize your ability to think. In the exam, like I told my students, there are many things you may be coming across for the first time in the exam. It's normal. But if you're able to think in the exam for, within 5 minutes, you get through it. For instance, if the examiner is asking you about cost effectiveness analysis, cost benefit analysis, and that's the first time of you coming across it, I believe if you are my student, that should not be new to you. But I'm just imagining if that's the first time you are coming across it in the exam. If you are coming across that in the exam, from your thought process, you should be able to know cost benefit analysis means this. So in the next 2 weeks, please normalize rest, normalize your thought process, normalize everything you need to do, and also to include that is that in your next 2 weeks to the exam, having it's good you use 80-20 rule. We have constants that come out in the exam for all courses. Don't be like those who will be reading and miss. Get yourself through, get your topics in order. Last diet, the examiner did us a shock, but for those people that we met before, it's something I had predicted, and there's no magic in that prediction. It's just because I'm familiar with the pattern, and I told them this is likely going to come. And even in the exam, it came as number one, came as number three. That was because I was familiar with the past question. So what I'm saying in essence is this: please check through. Use the 80-20 rule. The topics you know are very important. Gather them up together. Study them first. The topics do not carry equal weight. Don't be deceived. It doesn't carry equal weight. You understand what I'm saying? So please, if it doesn't carry equal weight, I don't see reasons why you should put the same attention across board on all the topics. You should make sure there are some topics that you have to know very well. There are some things that, and the 30%, 20% in the syllabus, they are expected to guide you to, because marks should be allocated based on that. Get your syllabus together, get your topics together, apply the 80-20 rule, and I believe you will be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that beautiful one. Thank you.
Small one I caught.
Thank you for that beautiful one. And thank you so much for that wonderful piece. As we can hear, Mr. Goodingham says that we should normalize your head and thought process. Above all, I want to write exam. I want to write exam. Permit me to say this in pidgin. Now, person with they alive, now in the right exam. Now, person with they okay, now in the right exam. First and foremost, take care of your heads. Over time, doing our sensitization, we've actually had one of our speakers that says that there was a particular person that was preparing for the exam, up to the point that when that person was sick, they took her to the hospital. But because our mindset was, exam is in 1 week's time, I haven't prepared, I've not prepared enough. Yeah, she had to discharge herself. And for God so loved the world, even for the exam, she actually gave up the oath. It is not just about the exam in most cases. At times, it is all about your head.
Oh, your mentors.
It is about your head. And when you actually take care of your head, it is part of the exam success. In fact, the paramount of it all. Because it is when you are actually agile and healthy to write the exam that you really have the prospect of even passing the exam. And you also say that you should gather the topics that are more important and examinable. And that actually goes in line with my next question that I shall be throwing to my world, my panelists. My panelists, can I see your face again? Mr. Yenda Abduasi, where are you? Mr. Uwem Amos, where are you? Bolu Atife, where are you? Miss Bolu Atife, where are you? Okay, good of you. All right, as we all know, thank you so much, my panelists, for the wonderful piece that you've given to us this morning. Please permit me to actually ask, since it is 2 weeks, and most of you, let me say that the common things about what you all said is for us to actually have confidence in ourselves, then have a plan or a schedule or a calendar, the same thing. And you also said we should familiarize ourselves with past questions. I could remember when Mr. Yenda said there was actually a particular question that's this, and that. Let's leave that aside. The next question, which I'm actually throwing open for you, is how do we really focus on examinable question? And If ICAN is giving us a shocker, how do we have the shock absorber? Let me clarify that. First question, I'm throwing it open to everyone. How do we identify the examinable questions? And if ICAN asks me a question that I do not know, how do I go about it? That is one question. Okay, before I now ask the second one, let me throw that open to all of you. You have the ball. The ball is in your court. My question is, how do we know the examinable question? And in case I can ask you questions I do not know, how do I go about it?
Okay.
You might. Can I go first?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, boss.
Okay, so just like Mr. Ogundiron said, for every topics, there are top tested areas, and for those that are students of IUT, you would realize that maybe at the worst case scenario at the revision stage or towards the end of the program, certain topics were highlighted that you must know those topics or areas that are highly examinable for this diet. For example, those that did SFM got that, those that did PM got that as well. And also, if you also take a look at your question practice as well, as you practice past question paper, you begin to see that some topics are tested almost every diet. So that tells you that, oh, these are topics that I really need to focus on. So what that means is that within the next 2 weeks, you should ensure that you are very comfortable with those top tested topics. Know everything really, but be very comfortable with those top tested topics. And how are you going to be comfortable with them? It is by practicing questions. It is when you practice questions that you get to know mind of the examiner. For example, one of the techniques when it comes to practice questions, don't be too fast to look at the answer. Ensure that you solve the question to the end before you then begin to go and say, okay, let me even look at what's the answer, where did I get it wrong, where is it mixed up, is it because I used a different technique, or is it just I was completely wrong? In exam context, like Mr. Gundaron did mention, and like you said, sometimes you might see something that looks strange, but in reality, it is not strange. So you were taught the techniques, you were taught the topic, you taught the technique on how to approach them. All you need to do is to take a breath and calm down and read to understand the question. Oftentimes the difference is just in one English sentence. Maybe they said, oh, it happened in point A, but you were always answering question when it happened at point C. So when you calm down and read the question to understand, read to understand, not read to give an answer immediately, but read to understand, it helps you see where you have that little difference between what you're generally used to and what the examiner is actually setting. And that's why I tell my students during my revision class, your focus should be to answer the question you are asked rather than the question you wish you were asked. So if you're focused on answering the actual question you asked, it requires that you understand the content of that question. And oftentimes it's just English. It's just English. Calm down and read the English and understand it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful piece. Thank you. I think I'm cutting on with answer the question you are asked and not the one you are asked. We didn't get that. Can you please repeat that, sir, before you go? My people want to hear it well.
Yeah, so I said the focus is answer the question you are asked rather than the one you wish you were asked. So when you're answering the question you're asked, it means that you're taking your time to read and understand what the question is talking about rather than what you are used to. If your mindset is all about what I'm used to, you'll be answering the question you wish you were asked rather than the actual question that you ask. So that mindset helps you to be able to read and understand the question. So even if the examiner changes a sentence or two, you are able to easily pick it because you're focused on answering the question you asked rather than what you wish you were asked. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope people could understand it better than better, just as I do, that you should answer the question you are asked rather than the one you wish you are asked. That's why I purposely asked him to repeat it so that you can actually get that. Apology to let you know that in the exam, most of us, when we just see a question, you wouldn't even care to even read the question to the end before you start your answer, thinking that this is what I was asked. I was really going through 12 field films, and they said, write a question about this. But because you think, oh, when I have this question, this is what they are asking next. No. Just like those that are doing case study, you always think in every case study you should be having your business analysis, or you should just be having your financial analysis for requirements. When it doesn't jive, ensure that you answer the question that you are asked. Thank you so much for that. Ms. Bolo Atife, the ball in your court. Did you get my question? Let me repeat it again. I said the question is, how do we familiarize ourselves to the examinable questions? And how do we answer that? That is the question.
You're muted.
Am I muted?
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. I got the question. So one thing I always tell students is, firstly, go to your past question. I always tell students, especially go to like last 10 diets. Study the questions that come out every diet. In addition to what Mr. Emo said, there are some questions that comes out repeatedly every diet. Those are the main ones that ICAN always brings out again, test student again. So when you see those questions, there are patterns to how these questions are. So if you see that this question always come out every diet, then single it out and know that it's one of the important questions you need to focus on. So that is that. Another thing is about students. For example, when you see question in the exam and you don't know it. So one thing I used to tell students is there might be tension, but you need to calm down, because if you allow tension to take over, in fact, what you know might fly away and you might not know it again. So you need to calm down. If you see a question that you don't know, first you go and look for the best possible questions that you can answer correctly. But if we say that that is the only question that is left that you need to solve, that you don't have the choice, then come back to it and do them. Try and calm down to read the question carefully and understand. It might just be like maybe the first reading and you think that is difficult until you read it again. You read it over again, read it step by step so that you will get it. But when you see a difficult question at first, maybe you are just answering question one and you don't know what to write again, or you are writing maybe it's just the second question, make sure you answer the ones that you know possible best, the ones that you know you can try your best on, answer them, then come back to that one to attempt it. So even if you are confused at first, you can come back to attempt it carefully and understand the question, so that, because in as much as we are answering questions, we have to be strategic with time. Trust me, you're in exam and time will be flying. So you need to calm down. Don't let tension take over, because if you still insist right there and then that you waste your 1 hour on it, then you might actually waste your time. But make sure you come back to it and tackle it and do those ones that you know that you can tackle very well. So that is what I will be saying.
Thank you, and thank you so much for that. Mr. Ayanda, where are you? So, Mr. Olokule Michael, permit me to actually change the face of the question, as the other one has actually been answered. And the next question that I would like to shift to you is, we have actually talked about how to answer the question effectively in the exam. And Ms. Boluwatife actually says that last 10 diet is actually one of the surest bets that everyone can actually use as a yardstick. But Mr. Nukule Michael, is it actually important to start from question 1 in the exam? And if I do not even know question 1, will that affect my score? How do we go about that?
Oh, okay. I'm smiling because some people have already shared some stories with some people in my classes. So some of them is going to look like I'm going to be repeating the same thing. Number one, to my own belief, I believe number one has some elements in it that if you are not careful will throw you off balance. To get 30 is, I mean, it's likely going to throw you off balance. So, and the examiner is magnanimous to give you 15 minutes reading time. He wants you to use that 15 minutes to read through the question. It's not compulsory that you answer question number 1 first. Answer the one you are most comfortable with first. That is going to improve your confidence. That if you answer the first question and that gives you a balance, then you are sure of the rest. Number 2 is within that 15 minutes, you are not allowed to write, but within your mind, you know that this is the okay. I know number 1, I know number 2, I don't know number 3, number 4, I know number 5, number 6, number 7, and all of that. You paid for the exam, so I don't see reason why you should not be able to use your script very well. Use your biro, jot out some points in your answer booklet. You are not allowed, you are not allowed to write on your question paper, but jot out some points in your answer booklet that will make up a full-fledged of essay you want to do, especially for those who are doing CSME or something of that nature. Now, your number 1 is 30 marks. You can pass without it if you're able to get 50 over 70. But make sure you don't use more than 1 hour in question number 1. Because the moment you are use more than 1 hour on question number 1, you have cheated other questions. Number 1, the maximum time allocated for question number 1 is 54 minutes by all calculation. So if you do beyond 54 minutes, you've cheated some questions. That's 1. Number 2 is that once you have answered other questions and you're a little bit confident, you can now come back to number 1, then settle with it. You have the luxury of time to now settle with it. Moreover, for calculations, it is the steps that are being marked. All you need is just a 10 marks or 15 marks from that number 1 to get to gain your balance. So my conclusion is this: you can actually maximize your time. Do the ones you are most comfortable with first, not number 1 first. But if you feel you know number 1 very well, please feel free to go ahead. You understand? But then, if what I believe you should do is do the most comfortable ones first. After that, go next to the next one, go next to the next one. So by the time you are, even if number 1 is what you don't know at all, you can now come. I mean, you still have about 45 minutes to still play around with figures, play around with words. I remember, if I'm allowed to share my personal experience, I did CSM, what you call CSME now, was called MGE in my own time. The number 1 the examiner brought was BCG. The only thing I knew from that thing was dog, cash cow, question mark, and this, and it was case study kind of thing. So everything was just looking like dog for me. So I just had to just leave that. And God will punish devil. He was asking me risk assessment in number 2 and number 3. That part I don't even know much at all. A risk management part of it. So I just felt corporate governance and ethics was what I did first. Then came back to the risk assessment. In fact, the risk part of it, I knew it was as if I knew myself that this I paid for this exam. I have to write something. You understand what I'm saying? You paid for it. That's where the issue of you have to be able to think. They've taught you need retentive memory. Retentive memory comes with thoughts. So when you list out those things, then you now come back to number 1. Then number 1 settle it, and that's all. No, but another thing I want to guide you is don't, like, I want to corroborate with what Mr. Wem said. Don't over assume that this is the format. For those people who are coming in my class, I don't like giving format because format is one of the loopholes in accounting that we are not actually taking care of. In my cash flow, when I was doing FR then, in my cash flow, I was used to working back from retained earnings to profit before tax if profit before tax was not given. So the examiner gave retained earnings and something like that. Unknown to me that in part of the additional information, he has already given cash flow from operating activities this. So he has actually solved operating activities for me, just for me to pick the investing and financing activity. But because I had the format preset in my memory, I walked back for about 30 minutes, only for me to read that information and say, Omo, try. Then after
30
reading that
minutes
information, I was like,
gone.
So, I mean, after that, I just brought that up and then I was able to sort it out. But imagine if I had read it fully and not have a kind of preset. Read the question very well. Read it very well. Do the ones you are most comfortable with. Normalize jotting first before writing. Use your 15 minutes judiciously. Use your 15 minutes very well. You understand what I'm saying? Use your 15 minutes very. It's meant for. It's a reading time. Read all the question. Don't come out of the exam and say, I don't know, I would have answered question number 7. I don't know. I don't know it's next 6 months. So you get what I'm saying? I don't know it's next 6 months. I don't know it may cost even 1 year if you're not careful. So please just try to do what you are comfortable with. I think I've answered your question.
Yes. And in fact, I can say to my satisfaction, I made it brilliantly. And why I ask the question is not just in your own class. I think they love to ask that question across all the platforms. And I can confirm to you that most of them are also satisfied with those responses, especially when it has to be that they have actually paid for the exam. They shouldn't leave their book blank. But there is something that looks ambiguous to me, which I really like you to clarify. Because, in the examiner will be telling you the 15 minutes is for you to read and not to write. And if I just put anything on my pen or my paper, they may say that I'm copying or I've derived. How do we resolve that? If I should write, you said we should jot down something in our paper, in our booklet, since we are already paid. But jotting down, the examiner might call it malpractice.
Okay, my point there is this, that 15 minutes time is for you to read all the questions. For you to read all the so that you pick the ones you are most comfortable with. Correct, you are not expected to write within the 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes is for you to even decide. It's a deciding time. And that 15 minutes is even to me more important than the 3 hours. The reason I said this is with that 15 minutes decides I'm good in number 1, I do it. I'm good in number 2, I've read all the additional information. There is nothing that looks very shady to me. I'm picking that. Okay, number 3, it doesn't look familiar. Let me go to number 4. That's number 4. Okay, I know A, I don't know B, I know C. Comfortable out of 20, I'm able to pick 15, 12 marks from here. Then you go to number 6, number 5. I'm able to pick 7. I'm able to pick a little 7, a little 5 there, a little 1 there. Makes up 50. After all, you need is 50 marks. So that's what you. That time is for you to decide. Immediately you are done with that. Once you heard by my watch, it is this also time. You can now start writing. What I expect you to do is, the way the brain works. A lot of
the way the brain works. A lot of you've yanked off my instructor. You've yanked off my speaker.
The brain is
That
not
is
working
how the
anymore.
brain works. Thank you so much for that. I think you can all catch the glimpse. The way the brain works is you actually need to plan before you start writing. You shall continue from there. Mr. Yanda, you actually came at the right time, and thank you so much for sharing your screen again. But my own challenges, Mr. Yanda, is that you won't be presenting, but if you can still cite example, it will be really interesting, because this is part of the most important task that my professionals, my students has actually sent me to you. And the question is, what strategy can actually be adopted in answering questions? And you have to cite examples, because we are tired of all this theory. They really want to see examples on the strategy to adopt in answering questions, so that for the remaining 2 weeks, we can actually focus and adopt that strategy. Mr. Uwem has actually talked more on answering the question that we are asked. Ms. Boluwatife says that we should focus on the last 10 diets and be time conscious, focusing on the most important question that we are given. And we see that actually aligns with what Mr. Uwem has said. Mr. Goodwin Michael also says that it is not really compulsory to start with question 1, that we should start with the one that we know, that we even know best, and that we should just work strategically. And I know that you are the master of the strategy, because you are even the team lead for CSME, which is a strategy indeed. And Mr. Yenda, we would like you to actually tell us the strategy that we can actually adopt in answering the question, but we would love you to actually cite example, if you can share your screen.
Okay. Thanks everyone, and thank you, Mr. Yomite. So I think the strategy that you can use to answer your question. First of all, it has to depend on the question that you really know very well, because every strategy will come from somewhere. And just like in maybe my CSME, we used to say that word, the starting point of your strategy, it has to start from your mission statement, in terms of what you have to know what your purpose is. So the strategy that you're going to use to answer the question will have to start from the question that you are about to answer and what is the requirement of the question. So because strategy is about how you can able to succeed in that particular question that you want to answer. That, oh, I want to do this what now, question 2. So the strategy that I think that we need to be talking about now, it has to be what, okay, well, if I decide to start with what question 2 now, how am I going to be successful in what in question 2? How are you going to get the best possible mark relating to what to question 2? And to me, one of the way it has to be you understanding the requirement of the question. Because when we are talking about the strategy that you can use now to solve the question, is about you coming out very successful. It's about you able to attempt all the question and get all the best possible or the best possible. So the first thing that you have to do is about make sure that you understand the requirement of the question very well. That this is what the requirement is. Let's say, for example, now I can let's say I pick an example of what now. Let's say FR. If you're asked to answer what now FR, and you're asked to prepare what now? Let's say consolidated statement of financial position. So that's the requirement. And this is financial reporting. So you know that you want to answer this particular question now on financial reporting relating to to consolidated financial statement. Then your strategy will now have to be okay, what are the steps? What are the things that you need to do when it comes to consolidation? So it is now you need to now be bringing your tools, because in strategy now you need something to achieve it. So if you have decided that you want to answer this question relating to consolidation now, then the next thing that you have to do, okay, prepare the consolidated statement of financial position. Then the next thing that you have to do now is about you understanding the requirement. That if I want to do this based on what you have been taught in the class, based on what you have read as well, how am I going to do it? Then you will now start deploying all the tools that you know. So the tools that you know now, it has to do, I need to do the group structure, I need to do the net asset, you need to calculate the goodwill, you need to do the NCR, then you need to do your consolidated retained earnings. So those are your words now, those are your steps. So in answering question very well, you have to listen to the requirement of the question very well. And just like Mr. Amos mentioned earlier, that you don't answer the question based on the way you feel. No. You answer it based on what the way the examiner feel, not the way you feel. No, I should do it this way, but that is not the requirement. That is not what the examiner is asking you. And that's why my senior colleague, Mr. Lakunle, also mention that the 15 minutes is very, very crucial, which you have to sit down very well and determine the question that you want to do. Because you don't say that you want to do consolidated statement of financial position, and at the end of the day, you say, oh, I'm not doing it again. No, you have wasted some work, you have wasted some time, you have wasted some effort. So during that 15 minutes, you should be able to know that I'm going to do this. And just like some of my previous colleagues also mention that, okay, well, the question that you asked your mind, in terms of how can you know the key examinable question? The easiest way you can know the key examinable question is about you familiarizing yourself with the words, or familiarizing yourself with the past question. Familiarizing yourself with the past question. That if you see the past question, you know that these are regular topic. Just like, for example, now I can't be preparing for financial reporting and I don't know IS1. I don't know what now IS7. You don't know your ratio. You don't know your group account. So, like I usually tell my students that there are some things that we can't know. That is my own assumption. No, we can't remember everything. I don't know, maybe someone you may have something against that. May I believe personally that I can't know everything, but there are some things that I need to know. I can't be a corporate reporting student and I don't know group account. Because you know already now that your number one is always going to be what? Consolidated financial statement. So it's not maybe in the FR that it will not come out, but you know that what in CR now, your number one is always going to be a what? Group account. So even though you don't know what was IFRS 9 is saying that, or maybe IFRS was 16 now, but you know that this is my number one. So you have to work now. The effort has to be there, and you just have to work to understand it before you even start deploying your strategy. And your strategy is about you understanding the requirement. And once you understand the requirement, pay attention to it very well and answer it based on what the examiner wants, not based on what you want, or not based on your own taste. It has to be based on what? It has to be case specific. It has to be something that relates with it, not the way you feel. So understanding it, and understanding is very, very key. Before you start, use your 15 minutes very well. Check it very well. Oh, am I good in this? If you are not good, you have 7 words. You have 7 questions, so you have to answer 5. So just look at it very well, and you should be what? You should be fine. You should be what? You should be fine. So that's just going to be my own strategy. And in end product of what I'm saying is about what? Understand the requirement. Once you understand the requirement, you're able to deploy your knowledge. And once you deploy your knowledge, you're able to get the best possible mark of it. Because in strategies, just like my guy make mention, in strategy is about for you to succeed. So for you to succeed in any question, you have to understand the requirement. The understanding of the requirement is very, very key. Just try as much as you can, and God will make it easy for you. So yeah, I think that's all for me.
Yeah, thank you so much for that beautiful piece. Okay. Permit me to actually allow my audience to also ask my panelists some questions. So for those that has been raising hand, you can raise your hand again. And if you have a question, you can actually drop a text or a chat. I can actually check that. If you have anything to ask my panelists before I bid them goodbye, kindly signify. Do you have any question for my panelists? Hello? Okay. Adeline, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, sir. I'm fine, sir. And you?
Good morning, Ma. Trust you're doing great.
Yeah.
So, Ma, very quickly, what is the question you have for my panelists?
Okay, good morning.
To give you a
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for this meeting and all you're doing. God bless you. My question is, last diet, something affected me. I find out that there are some questions that will come with, ICAN questions comes with mother, father, children, grandchildren, I. So I find out that, like, if you have question 2, all the extras that will come, you will know some answers there. And when you go to question 4, you pick it, you will know parts and you will not know other ones. And by the time you pick 4 questions, like one of our speakers said, that 15 minutes reading time, by that time you might have understood and you know the one to answer. But sometimes I find out that when you see a particular, you will pick the 4.
Sensitization, end of listening sensitization, how to answer questions.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
So inside that 4 questions that you've already picked, or 5 to answer, you find out that inside the other 2 extra that is remaining, you still know some things there, but you don't know some inside this one. So how do we do in that case? I don't know. So that's my question. So how would someone do?
Thank you so much, Ms. Adeline. Actually, I also have it as part of my question, which says that if I know question 1A, for instance, and I don't know question 1B and C, what do I do in that regards? And I'm really pleased that Ms. Adeline is also asking the same question. So my panelists, on to you. How do we go about that? Where are my other panelists?
Shall I go?
Oluwatife, Uwe, Michael, where are you? Show your face. So, Mr. Ayanda, how do we go about that? Good. You can see
Okay,
my paper.
thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Open. Where done, sir?
Okay, so to me, at least, it's a good question, and some, at least majority of us that are here, they are going to be in that word, maybe one way or the other. I know that some of us have been in that shoe before, because when she asked that particular question, I also remember myself as well that, and
exactly.
But to be honest, I don't even know, maybe Boluwatife or Michael will come in, because there are some time whereby you know A but you don't know B, and sometimes it can be funny whereby, let's say for example now you have B, but your answer in B now, it depends on the outcome of what, of A. If A is not correct, B is not going to be what? B is not going to be correct. So in that situation, to be honest, what we just need to pray that let's say we don't come across such question, and if we come across it, at least to me, just do the best that you can, read the question very well. There's still going to be some word, there's still going to be some hints on how you can word, on how you can navigate it. So just try. But to be honest with you, I think my own is that, okay, first of all, let's pray that we don't have that. But what about if you still have it, just try as much as possible, read the requirement very well, and I think that things will get better. If you're lucky, we can say something about that as well. Thanks.
Okay. In addition to what you said, it's actually like trust me, I've been in that type of situation, and I'll be like, I know A. The funny thing, I will know A, I will know C, but I don't know B. So, and okay, so when I get to that situation and maybe that is the only question I can, maybe that is the last option. I know that at least I know A, maybe others I don't even know it. So what I do is I try to read through the question to know what they are asking me. And even if I don't know, I try to think okay, what are the things? Because definitely, like Mr. Wasi said, there will be hints there. There will be hints in that question. I used to tell students, in as much as we are trying to say this, don't, please, let's try as much as possible not to leave it blank. Not to just don't leave it blank like that. Try and say something about it. For example, I was telling my students that in a question, let's say they ask you to solve fair value measurement. They give you a question on fair value measurement, and let's say maybe the question has like 3 standards. A, B, and C is fair value measurement solution. You don't know how to solve it. Write something on it. If you don't know how to solve the question, write what fair value measurement is in relation to that question. There will be something you can pick out to write. If that is the only question you can do, write something about it. And another thing is focusing on not only calculation. If it's a calculation course, don't focus on only calculation. Read theory too. At least if you don't know calculation, you will use theory to back it up. So things like that, it will be helpful. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful question. So permit me to actually take other person's question. Echeng, I hope that actually satisfies the demand. So Paulina, you have the mic. Paulina, how are you doing today? Good morning. Paulina, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm so sorry. I'm good. Thank you. I actually raised my hand by mistake. I don't have a question.
Can you hear me?
I don't have a question, please.
Hello, sir.
It was a mistake.
Paulina.
Can you hear me? Yes,
Please
sir.
hear
Can you
me.
hear me?
Paulina, you are
Hello,
using...
sir. Can you hear
She
me?
doesn't have a question. She said she doesn't have a question. That was a mistake.
Okay, probably we have 2 Paulinas here. I can see we have two Paulinas here. So
Okay, I'm seeing two Paulina. One Paulina.
I have a question. Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ma. I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay. Have issues a little. It actually fluctuated. I don't know. I heard they were saying 10 years, the Pathfinder, we should go back 10 years, 10 years or 5 years if I want to use the Pathfinder. Because I was focusing on 5 years back. That's 2019 to date. So I don't know if it's the other way around.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Let me quickly take that. What they said was last 10 diets. And what they mean by last 10 diets is November 2023, 1, May 2023, 2, that is 1 year. November 2022, 1, May 2022, that is 4 diets already, which is 2 years. Like that, that is the 10 diet. 10 diets should be 5 years back, should be last 5 years, which is 10 diets, not 10 years, 10 diets. You know, I can have 2 diets in a year. So that is what they mean, which is 10 diets. Thanks so much for that. Okay, permit me to take on the next person. Sorry, you need to signify for me to actually pick you. Without this thing, I can't pick you. Chizom, your question. You have to raise your hand.
Okay.
Chizom.
My name is Chisom, actually not Chisom. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is my first time of writing ICAN. I wanted to ask, normally before exam starts, then do give people time to just go through the question before you start the exam. So during that time, like let me put myself for example, maybe when I'm going through the question and I see some question that I actually know, can I just write it down on the booklet so I will not forget, or they will see it as my practice?
Thank you so much. My panelists, on to you.
No, you cannot write during the reading time. But what I advise is that immediately after the 15 minutes is over, you can then quickly write down your point immediately, but you cannot write within the 15 minutes. That's the standard.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I hope you are clear with that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry, before we continue, Mr. Afis Adebimpe, good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, boss.
So I have a kind of contribution to Paulina's question, and I have a different opinion with regards to past question, and I think we need to set the record straight on this call. What is the objective of students using past questions, trying to know 10 years before, 5 years after? I think we should just focus on past question as a guide to how exam question is structured, and not that ICAN will repeat questions. Beyond writing ICAN exam, 95% of chartered accountant, the expectation is that is either you are going to be an accountant, or you are going to be a tax person, or you are going to be an auditor, or you work in strategy. Let me tell you something. The number of what we are doing in classroom will still surface in practice. So my point is, let's go beyond trying to read past question with the intention that ICAN will repeat question. Whether you take past question or not, just ensure you follow through the content given to you by ICAN, and it can assure you if they go into heaven to bring question, you still pass that diet. That's my own view. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Afis Adebimpe. I would implore you to also share your screen. I've actually been waiting for you. Welcome back, sir. Can you share your screen? Can you share your video? Okay, Mr. Afis Adebimpe is my co-moderator. All right, permit me to take the next person. Uchechu. Uchechu, are you there?
Yes,
please,
sir. Good morning.
I'm taking Uchechu Sorry, yes, I'm taking you, Chechu, as second to the last. And after Chechu, I'm only taking one more question before we move to the next one. We have to manage our time efficiently, as we all know that this is the revision period for you. So, Chechi, go ahead. Apology to cutting.
Okay, good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. I'm so happy to be part of one of the students in IoT because I've actually learned a lot. Thank you all our lecturers. You people are wonderful.
Thank
Okay. I have two questions. My number one question is that now we have a lot of things to read and read and read and read. So I'm seeing a question. Do you have anybody have any formula that me personally I can use to be able to retain, or something I can do to, if you're talking about reading, we have been reading and reading because you have a lot of things. Like me, I'm doing 5 courses. So now a time is coming very closer. So for us to actually prove ourselves, to know that what you guys are teaching us, we really retain is to us to pass the exam, right? So I'm asking, do we have any shortcut that we can actually retain everything, you know? Because once we enter exam hall, like everything, you try to remember this formula, and you have another formula, you have especially in PM and all those things. So is there any shortcuts can be able, when you see a place, you not just notice that this is the particular area they are going? That is my first question. My second question is that during exam time, if somebody like now, somebody asks you something, you're not allowed to talk, right? Is it part of exam malpractice?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That is my second question.
Is that the second question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful question. So my finalist, where is Inyanda, Olukunle, Boluwatife, and Uwem? Where are you, Sasama?
I think I'm still with
So
you.
I didn't get that.
please give us shortcuts that we can use to retain all this bombardment you've given to us, and give us a formula that we can use to get everything, so that not when we enter the exam mode, the thing will just turn to bed and fly away. Please give us the formula. You are muted. You are muted. Mr. Yanda, you are muted. Mr. Michael, you are muted.
Yes, I thought Mr. Michael wants to go first. So something about that.
Okay. So, okay.
Mr. Michael, go first. Mr. Yanda has allowed you to go first.
Okay. For me, if you want me to be candid with that question here, I mean, for me, the best way to succeed is practice, right? So the best way to do it is to practice. Number one. Number two is that many students over assume that they know it because the lecturer has taught them. I can tell you didn't know it. You know it when you practice it yourself, or when you study it yourself again after the lecturer has taught you. So the idea is you must create time to study, uh, focusing on what the lecturer has guided you on. Do the questions again, solve it again, and with that it will stick. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. Mr. Yanda.
Yes, I think the shortcut is about what my colleague Mr. Michael just make mention as well now. It's about you just try to understand it. Try to understand the principle behind it. Because there are some things that is not really about sometimes the examiner can even bring some questions that are familiar, but it will change some word, it will change some additional information regarding it. So it is a principle that really matter. It is a principle that really matter. So Uchechi, I think you are one of my students as well in SSME. So it's about what you understanding the principle, because sometimes even what my Mr. Adebimpe make mention now as well, that when you go through the past question, it's not just about for you to say that they should bring that particular question again. Oh no, Even the question can be familiar, but it may be word. It may not even be the same. So it is a word in Emperor. Just try as much as possible to understand the format. And if I can share some words on my screen with you, so just a few minutes so that I can just show you guys that
I've been waiting
sometime.
for that, sis. Can you please do that?
And it's good. Okay, let me do that.
We have been waiting.
Okay, so let's go to this word now. Let me just check something. Let's say word now. If I say student now, I just want to show you certain things that what really mattered is about you word, understanding the word, the principle. So, and this one needs to be what? It to be for the professional words. So I think.
Please, sir, hold on. Please, sir, 1 minute.
All right,
please.
now go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Everyone,
Go ahead.
what Mr. Yanda wanted to do now, in case you do not understand what he's trying to present, he actually wants to use a pathfinder to show us the strategy that we can adopt in answering questions, and also some aspects that we need to, that can be focused on based on what the examiner loves examining. So please pay attention and be focused and ensure you avoid distraction. Thank you, Mr. Yanda. You can write on.
All right, America. So what I just want to show you now, if you look at this, well, I think this is for the professional student, but it's the same knowledge also applicable. And I think I have it. So if you look at this particular question now, and that's why sometimes, even though you go through the past question, it's not just about you, oh, they should bring the same question. The question can maybe look familiar, but they are not they are not the same. So look at this particular question now, at least to some maybe foundation or will be lost here now, but don't worry, you get there. So there's another word now. This is November 2019 now. This is on word now, on sub. Now let me not share word now. Let me not share November 20. Oh, I think I can't even have it here. But just hold on. I think I have it on my system. Let me just stop sharing. That's on fire that is off. I'll share. I'm coming. Just give me some few minutes. So in regarding that now, so the question it may look familiar that everything is the same, but mind you, it is not the same. It is not the same. The question are not the same. So let me just I just want to show you something now. So just give me some few seconds. I think it's not on their website, but I think I have it before, so that you can see what I'm trying to word and what Mr. Adebimpe also to make mention as well. So that when you go to the past question, it's not just about words. Oh, they have bring this thing, they should also bring it again. So hold on, I think I'll have it now. It's not on their website, but maybe they mistakenly will take it out or something. So if I just say CR, I have it somewhere.
Should I share it?
Oh, you can share it if you have the last line. Thank you,
No,
Mr.
to
Ayman.
you. Should I send it to you?
My WhatsApp is currently down.
Okay.
So, but do you have it on your system, sir?
No, it's on my mobile. That's why I want to send it to you.
My WhatsApp is no, but I think I have it somewhere before. Maybe I think I should. Please, sorry everyone, no, but just take some words. It's just for a better understanding as well. Okay, I think I have it. I have it now. I think I got it now. So just hold on. Okay, I think I have it now. I think I have it. Okay, so let me share my screen back. Sorry about that, please. So I think I have it. So there's one. So this is what I'm talking about. So there's a compilation of word of this. So let me just scroll down. It will be the word, the last diet. So let me go now. Sorry for keeping you waiting. So now this is the word now. This is the last diet. And this is November 2023 now. So if you look at this particular question now, sport, football, and volleyball, they are what? They are the same. And if you look at the figure here, you can see you have what? 5,082. If you look at the word, this one is mayor. You can also see that it is what now? 5,582 as well. The figure are the same. What is the football? The football is what now? 2,260. it is also what 2,260 as well. Yedun, which is the same thing here as volleyball, 1,190, which is the total asset, is also what the same. So if you look at the word now, you feel like the question is what is quite the same in terms of the word, the number. So if a student has studied this particular November word now, November 2019, you check through the past question and you see something like this and you practice it. I know there are some people that was your face is like a screenshot. Once you see the solution, you can. I have some friends in school. So by the time that we are going to the exam hall, my roommates, at least I think is very good in cramming, but me, I'm not. But I have to read a lot before. But because we usually sit down together, so there are some times I will just say, okay, so I need to look at this thing. Once I get to the exam hall, if this particular question come, I know that what I trust on Nick, it's not what it's not even press calculator again. I could ask you, oh, is this question? So, but me, I'm not what I can't try it. So, what I'm trying to say in essence, Dan, the question is the same. Same thing here. If you look at this additional information, is also what is also this additional information as well. So you can see there's a sports. We have 36. We have 98. You have 6. Also, the November now is also what is also the same thing. But there's one additional information in this question now that will throw you off balance. And that's why, to me personally, I really appreciate the examiner for this. And what I really appreciate the examiner for in this diet is that even though you have practiced it before, there's something that will change it. Just one information, it will change the entire process. So what I'm just trying to show you in essence, and just a backup of what my Oga has made mention of, it's not just you going to the past question with the hope that they are going to repeat the question. The question may look the same, but there may be changes in the additional information. So in this particular question now, this November 19 and November 2023 now, there's just one additional information that will throw you off balance. So if it is someone that just cram everything, you check it and you're good. By the time you see that additional information now, you feel like, oh, there's a changes. So the purpose of you going to the past question to check it, at least we all make mention of it, we all advocate for it, is to familiarize yourself with it. But not just that, okay, it is here, it has to be the same thing. No. It shouldn't. That should what? Please get rid of that mindset. The purpose of you getting to the past question is for you to be able to know that, okay, these are the way it is being tested. It's not a must that the examiner has to bring that same question again. Don't have the expectation that, oh, it's in this particular diet, last diet, they must also bring it again. No. But the essence of you getting past question. So if it's someone now that you have practiced this particular question of November 2019, when you see this one of November 2029, you can say at least a good student, you're still going to see a good mark because everything looked the same. There's just one additional information. Maybe you may not really get the word, but the process of this November 2023 is quite the same with November 2019. So even though you are going to miss something, it is just going to be few, but you are still going to get the pass mark if you understand what you have in November 2019 with this one that you have in November 2019. So that's just the word. That's just what I just want to point out. Don't go with the expectation that the question has to be the same. The question may be the same, but there may be some adjustment that the examiner has done. And if you are not careful, you may miss the word. You may not really get the entire word or 100% mark. Okay. And wish every one of us the best as well. So just try to understand it as well. Understand it. Understanding really play a long way. It's not only about to pass exam. Like some of my words, at least if some of you are MI here, at least I work within FP and H team. So there are some things that what I'm doing is also what I'm also taking in class. So it really works. At least I work in what it really understanding really what it's not only about you passing the exam, but the knowledge is also very, very important because everybody wants to work. You're an accountant, and one day, whether you're in practice or you're working in a company, you still come across it. So the knowledge really what is really important, and God will make it easy for every one of us. Okay? Mr. Yoma, you can continue.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful illustration. Thank you. I hope it's really helpful as I can see the reaction of people. Okay, please permit me to just take the last question for this session. And the question is coming from Steven. Steven, how are you today? Steven, how are you today? Okay, Please, everybody, you can send your question as a chat, and you can also send it as a text. You can also drop it in the platform. So by this, I shall be passing the mic.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
good afternoon,
sorry.
sir.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, it's I think. Good afternoon, sir. I don't know. I have this phobia whenever exam is around the corner. I don't know. I get discouraged to read, to study, particularly when it's like 2 weeks before the exam, just like it is now. In fact, I was planning to write 3 of the papers, but because of that fear, I had to go and register for just the 2 that I've registered now at the moment. I still have that same fear, the phobia, believing that I have not covered. And I get so much confused. But with a little sharing of ideas that I've received now, I think I'm a bit calm, like going back to past questions and all that. So, though my nature of my job is not giving me the time to study, and that is why I could. For what I applied was for standard. Are you not hearing me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Okay, we can hear me. I said I always have this phobia whenever it's 2 weeks before the exams. See, if I've not prepared adequately for the exams, and I get confused most times. I don't know what else to do and all that. So I need a help, please. What do you think I should do? Because I don't register on time because of that same fear. My nature of my job does not give me time to study hard. When I get home, I get exhausted and I sleep off. I wake up in the morning again. I want even my place of work. I want to study. I can't. They'll keep calling me, Steve, come here. You have to say something you need to do here. I will get home again. I will not be able to read again. And 2 weeks before exam, I get confused and all that. I don't know what else to do. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think would be my solution to that? Hello?
Mr. Abdulsafi. Mr. Abdulsafi. Yeah, Mr.
I can hear you.
So that is noted. So, Mr. Abdulsafi, what else do you think? What do you think?
Well,
you can do?
Mr. Stephen.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stephen. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
so
I just muted
to be honest with you, sir, a number of us find ourselves in your shoe, so don't think you are alone. But what I can give you as solution from my own point of view is that you need to fight yourself out of this situation by reading and have that belief in yourself that you can do it. Keep reading, solve as many past questions as possible, try to understand the topic as much as possible, ask necessary questions as much as possible. With all of this, it will bring confidence to you that no matter where the question is coming from, you will be able to attempt it. So that's my own submission, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, I have one more question, please. One more question.
Okay.
Can I, please, for some of us that apply for standard, is there, I don't know, when each time we watch the video, we don't have the opportunity to submit our questions. Sorry, the questions you will post, we don't have the opportunity to answer and submit. I don't know if that can be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm privileged to be one of the standard lecturers, and I'm happy that my bosses are also on this call. We'll look at that, and the coming diets will not have the same issues. We'll look into that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, my dear all. So thank you so much, everybody, for that wonderful interaction. I would ask Mr. Inyada, Mr. Michael, and Ms. Boluwatife to actually give us their parting words for how to really, what to do in 2 weeks to the exam. And we shall move to the next section. Thank you so much, sirs. And thank you so much, my panelists and my audience. God bless you all. Mr. Inyada? You are muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I thought so. Maybe Bolo wants to go first. Okay, so I think So what I think what I started with is, at least let me also end with that as well, in terms of what, just have confidence in yourself. Just like what Mr. Steven would ask question on. Just try as much as possible to have question in yourself. You know, they used to say something that you have to know the reason why you start. And that should always serve as a guide to keep you going. There's always a reason why you say that you are going to do this thing. And some of us, maybe promotion, maybe words, just for personal development as well. It's not even about, okay, you qualify and they have to promote you immediately like that. So, but for personal development is also very, very, very important. So always try as much as possible to. There's no word. At least every one of us that we are privileged to be here talking with you as well. Is also what we also word on the same words you previously before, and you words. I'm very sure that very soon you also find yourself qualified as well. So just know the reason why you start, and the road is what, just like Mr. Steven, let me still be using you. Sorry, like your work is quietly busy, and that's why sometimes me personally, at least when I was in school, at least that's one of the things that really motivates me, that okay, let me do this ICAN in words in school, because sometimes at least I have a words. I come out from house of chartered accountant, not sure. So, and I know some of my sisters and auntie are really after during their NYC, that's when they started at ICAN. But sometimes something just came up to me one day, like, okay, you say that word, maybe after the NYC or during the NYC, you should be doing it, because and that's one of my doctor in school usually say that the best time was during that NYC. Maybe if you are not doing it in school, during that NYC, do it. But as you are working, it really comes with a lot of words. It really comes with a lot of responsibility. It really comes with a lot of responsibility. You go to work Monday to Friday, and ICAN is also there Saturday and so on. You know, there are some party that you have missed now. As a result of what ICAN you didn't. ICAN has taken it away from you. So that is it. And just try as much as possible. Know the reason why you start. And if anything is, you still have to struggle with that time. You still have to find a way.
I hear you.
Oh, sorry. Please, can someone hear
It is
me?
a network. I hear him.
All right, and so,
you.
all right, and so in that product, what I'm just trying to say, it's going to be tough. Let's be honest with ourselves, but just know the reason why you start and try as much as possible to create the time for it. You are working, at least majority of people that, let's say 90% of people that are writing ICAN, you are working. So that's one of the things that usually cause the performance to be poor, to be honest with you, because there are some things that you go to work Monday to Friday, and even some of you, maybe you are at your work now, you still have a lot of work that you are doing.
On
And
Saturday.
yeah, even you still work on Saturday as well. So you can see now that the time that is the time that you really have is very, very little. But within that time as well, still try. If it is just like Mr. Ridwan says sometimes, if it is 30 minutes in a day, or maybe some of us that you are in Lagos, the traffic is a little bit worse. So if you can just carry your phone, maybe 30 minutes or what, and you have access to some of the video as well. So just listen to it. It's not as if you can just put your earpiece and you are listening to some of the audio or some of the video of the class as well. So in that traffic, at least you're also gaining something. So just try as much as possible, create the time. You are very busy, everybody know that, but you still have to create that time. And in end product, God will make it easy for you, and everybody will be successful by God's grace. So thank you, everyone, and that's for me.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you,
You're
thank you.
welcome, sir.
So thank you so much, everyone. I apologize for some questions that I could not take. We shall move on to the next agenda. Let's move on to the next agenda. Okay. Thank you so much, my panelists. We are moving to the next one. All right. So my dear all, as we have all heard, and as it has also been shown to us, what is required in 2 weeks to the ICAN exam. Then the next one is the do's and don'ts of ICAN exam. What are the things that we really need to do? And what are the things that we should not be doing in ICAN exams. Here, I shall be passing the mic to my moderator, Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe. I have the pleasure to let you know that Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe is a chartered accountant of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, that is an ACA, and he graduated from the prestigious Yaba College of Technology and Bestowa International Universities, where he actually had his HND in accountancy and BSc in accounting, respectively. Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe obtained his advanced professional certificate in global finance and strategy from NJABS College of Business Management in UK, and is an alumni of International Business Management Institute, Berlin, Germany, where he actually studied financial management and international law. That's how we call him law aficionado. And is an experienced teacher with a track record of past success. He's a good team player who is also a result-oriented with sound knowledge and expertise in finance, audit, tax, business restructuring, and management consultants. Mr. Abdulhafiz actually have a knack for learning and imparting lives, and so fond of do it simple and appropriate manner. Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe, how are you today? Good afternoon. Mr. Hafiz, good afternoon. How are you today? Mr.
Yeah, good
Hafiz,
afternoon. I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you now. Good afternoon, boss. How are you doing today?
I'm very fine. My
So
pleasure
I have
to.
the pleasure to pass the mic to you, sir. Why I take a bow?
Program. Without further ado, directly into the business of the day. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. But, sir, please, can you assist
It's
us
breaking.
to...
We can hear you, but it's breaking.
Yeah.
Is it your network? I'm finding it hard to hear you. What are you saying, sir?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir.
Okay. I'll have to take it again. I say good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to moderate this second segment of our program, end of the year sensitization program. So what we'll be discussing now is the do's and don'ts of ICAN exam. I have 4 panelists on this call. The first panelist is Mr. Wahab Olatunji, followed by Mr. Akini B. Oluwatosin, Mrs. Godwin Indojisic, and lastly, Mr. Wasusani. So, Mr. Wahab Olatunji, I would like us to take us through and let us know what are the do's and don'ts of ICAN exam. We are about 2 weeks to the exam. What are the do's and don'ts that my people need to know for them to have success in this forthcoming ICAN examination? May Diet 2020. Thank you. Is Mr. Wahab there?
Well, good afternoon.
Okay, if we, oh, good afternoon.
All right, as introduced by Mr. Indawasiu, let me also give us a brief introduction for some of us here at the skills level, and then some of us at professional level may know me. My name is Olatunji Wahab by name. I'm one of the facilitator at ICAN Online Tutors. I believe you can all hear me.
Very well, we can hear you. It's clear.
All right. I'm a lecturer in charge of strategic financial management at the skills level, where as strategic financial management, SFM, at the final stage, which is the professional stage. So here I'm here to talk about what are the do's and don'ts in writing your ICAN examination. I'll be making reference to some of the discussions that was made by my co-tutors. First thing you need to take care of, or that you need to take note of, is that this examination, it is at starting points, which you have started already. And you must also end this exam. And the end point is for you to be a chartered accountant. Let's have that at the back of our mind. Now, what are these do's? I will start with the do's before going to don'ts. The do's is just one point which can be elaborated to so many other points. And what is that point? It's just for you to pass the examination. That is your do. And this do that I said that we are going to establish so many other points on it is that you're having the do to do what? To come into the examination, write the exam, and pass the exam. But you need to do away with certain things that will not be able to, that will not make you to achieve that your goal. And what is it? You are given your exam question, and you are to attempt 5 questions out of 7 questions given to you. Part of my colleague mentioned that you are having 7 questions, which you are to attempt 5 questions. And out of that 5 questions, you were all advised that start with the very best question that you know. And part of the strategy is that somebody also asked a question about question 1. Is it compulsory to answer question 1 first, or can I pass my exam without question 1? Yes, it's also part of the do of the examination. Why did I need to start my exam with the very best known question? You start your exam with the one that you're having strength on. Out of 7 questions, I'm having the belief. And you yourself, you also have to build that courage yourself. Out of these 7 questions that I'm having, there is one particular question that I'm going to start with that I will have 100% strength and capacity on that question. It may not be your question 1. In fact, let us be sincere with ourselves. It will not be your question 1. You will not have 100% capacity on question 1. Believe me, you will not. But you can make attempt on that question 1. Don't make it as part of your own starting point. You will not have 100% capacity on it. Start with the very best question that you know you're having 100% capacity. I call it 100% capacity in the sense that if you can score 95% out of that question that you know best, out of the 7 questions, 95% is approximately to 100% of it, either in B part of the question or C part of the question. B part of the question, each carry 20 marks. C part of the question, each carry 15 marks. Even if it is that C part of the question that I know 1 out of the 3 questions very well, I will do with that one first. If I can have 15 marks out of the whole 80 marks that I want to pick, and for us that want to have, what is it called, prize winner among us, please don't let us do beyond our capacity. What we all need from you, just score 90%. Once you are able to have 90 points, you are good to go. But if your capacity is not up to that 90%, you can give us 85, give us 80. If it is 70, you can give us, we are okay with that. If it is 60, we are still little bit okay with that. Please don't go below 60%. That is one. Now, for you to pick the very best question you are working with, part of the do is that identify the requirement. Identify the requirement. The first point is that you are coming into the examination as part of the do. To do what? To pass the exam. That is the first do. Second thing is that you want to plan, and in your planning, you look out for what the best question out of the whole 7 questions we are having to start with. That is number 2. Number 3, understand the requirements. understand the requirements. It's also part of the point that was mentioned previously. You need to understand that requirement, because it is that requirement that will lead you, that will guide you on what are the items, what are the things you needed in solving your question or in attempting your question. I will make use of strategic financial management as a case in this aspect. Using cost of capital as a sample. During our revision class, I make it a very interactive session, because at this point, having any question, we are expected to be as free as possible and be picking what we needed rightly. If you are to determine, or if you are to calculate weighted average cost of capital, for instance, you ask yourself question, looking at the requirements, requirement states, calculate the weighted average cost of capital. You have seen it. Provided that you have seen the requirements directly, you know what will be the next thing to do. If the question states that calculate the weighted average cost of capital, as a student, as I am, what are the questions I will ask myself? First thing, I need two things to determine my weighted average cost of capital. And this includes what? I need the cost, I will write it down. The second one is what? I need the market value. After that, then what are the other steps that I need to identify the cost and what? And the weighted average cost of capital. Then I will now look at what is the source of financing this business that will be relevant to my weighted average cost of capital computation. Is it equity and debt? Is it equity, debt, and preference? Is it equity, convertible debt, preference? After that, you now look for the cost of each source of finance, and you determine the market value of each source of finances. Then you draw out your table to compute your Ash total, or if you want to use the formula base to determine your weighted average cost of capital. So that is key. The requirement of the question is key. You need to take note of that. You need to take note of that. After that, you have planned. The first stage, I said, you are part of the do is that you are coming to the examination hall to do what? To write the exam and pass. That is one of the do. The second thing is to do what? Is to plan. And your planning process will take as I'm having 7 questions. Then out of these 7 questions, I want to arrange them according to my preference. And my very first preference will be the very best question that I know that I'm having 100% capacity. If I'm to do mistake in that question, I will only score 95 to 98% from that question. Then next is that I will now go to my requirements. The requirement, what do you need your requirement for? You need the requirement to guide you on what are the likely information that you will be needed to do what? To tackle that requirement. Then, very best question, your first question you attempt, followed by the next best question you can also attempt, up to the 5th question that you want to attempt. You can make your question 1 to be your 5th question to attempt. As at that period, you are relaxing. You are relaxing and what? And solving the last question. If out of 5 questions, you've attempted 2 from section B, that is 40 marks question, and possibly maybe in your order of preference, according to how you are having capacity from the question, you have attempted question number 2, or you have attempted 2 questions from section B, that is 40 marks question, plus or minus, maybe you have 80% capacity from these 2 questions. 80% of 40, that is approximately 32 to 35 or 34 marks. If you have 34 in 2 questions, in 40 marks question, you go to section C, you're having 30 questions. You have to attempt 30 marks questions. You have capacity, plus or minus, maybe you have Out of 30, you have 20 marks. 20 plus 34, that makes it what? 54. In that 30 marks question you want to do as the last question that you are solving, you will not even score nothing less than 10 to 15 marks out of it. That is the process. Then I will also add this to part of the do. Don't leave any question unattempted. That's part of the do. Do not leave any question unattempted. One of the students asked a question, and I noted it, that I can do ask question, series of questions. They will ask you father, mother, children, grandson, among others. Yes, they will ask you question one. One will have A, AI, AII, 1B, 1BI, 1BII, III, 1C. Please, even if examiner like and ask you question 1D, V, 1D apostrophe or Roman figure V. Look at each of these line questions. Make sure you did not leave any unattempted. So this is the point that I'm going to pick from the do's of the examination. Sorry, I remember one now before we go to the don'ts. The last one that I remember now is that most especially for the calculatory aspects of the examination, for those questions that are formula based, there are some questions that are formula based. Please, you need to take note of those questions or requirements that are formula based, that they are formula in nature. Please and please, if you have any question that is formula based, that is having formula, for example, you want to determine the cost of preference shares, you will need to identify the cost first. And for you to identify, to calculate the cost, there is formula before you can do that costing. In your performance management, you have so many formula to use. Please, any question that requires formula, always state that formula first. Always state the formula before attempting that question or before solving it. We all know the reason.
Oh.
And the reason behind it is that,
Hello,
can you hear me? Hello, I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
All right. So the reason behind that is that that formula on its own, there is mark awarded to it. There is mark awarded to that formula. If you go through your pathfinders. Sorry, is somebody asking question?
You do like money.
Mr. Hafiz, please mute yourself, Mr. Hafiz. Okay,
so
go
that
ahead,
requirement, that formula itself, there is mark awarded for it. So if you go through your past questions, your pathfinders, you are not only looking at questions alone, you also need to identify how examiner awards you mark. Those formula on their own, they carry mark. That is one. Then the last thing again among it that I also remember now is when you are having a requirement that prepare the financial statements for any Lolobo Nigeria Limited. Please, the title or the name of that company should always come first. Don't forget to write the name of the company you are preparing financial statement for, or that you are preparing any requirement that you are asked to do. Write the name of the company. Don't forget to be doing that. Please, don't let exam tension to make you to lose marks. Don't let exam tension to make you to lose mark. Now, let me go back to don'ts. We have talked about the do's. And what are the don'ts? And the don'ts that we need to take note of, they are self-committed.
Hello, sir, please, I have a question. I've raised my hand.
Okay, go ahead before I move on to the don'ts.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, you made mention that we should try as much as possible unanswered. And I thought the best thing most times we look at looking at questions and picking the ones where we have the major strengths. Just like, ICAN question usually have maybe 7 has four sub, and maybe 8 has 5, and I know 3 out of 1. Maybe I'll prefer to go for ensure that we should make sure that we answer also in a situation where I don't know probably a part of a question. What happens? Drop the question and put it back, or how do we tackle that?
Mr. Wahab, Mr. Wahab.
Yes.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Wahab. Hold on, before you give response to that. Sorry, one of the ground rules is if you have any question, hold on to your question till our panelist finish his presentation. So we will only be taking this question. Any other question will come after your presentation, because that will help every other member of this session to get the point very clear. Thank you, madam, and thank you, Mr. Wahab. Quiet.
All right. So am I permitted to answer that
Yes.
question first?
Yes.
All right.
Answer. Thank you.
Okay, a very good question from your side. Ask giving you a dose of the examination on how you are going to achieve your goal. The first one I mentioned is that go for the very best one that you're having capacity on. And that capacity, I mentioned it, that maximum 95%. If you have 95% out of 100% from that question, maybe it is just one leg out of the whole question that is remaining. You have answered 1A. Maybe 1B is a theory aspect of it, but you don't want to stress your memory in answering that theory as at that period, but you have an idea of what to attempt. Or even if you don't have any idea of the B part, you leave that space as at the moment that you are writing that exam, so that you will not have a distraction in order that you are having strength upon. Leave it as at that moment. And in fact, you even have privilege over that one out of the whole question that you want to attempt in that particular question. You will have privilege at the end of the whole exam. How will you go back to it? After you have done all your strengths, please leave space for those aspects. Even if you don't leave space for it, what you can do is that let's assume that you have answered 1A, and 1A is having a Roman figure 2. Maybe it is just a comment that you are asked to do. You can leave maybe like 4 or 5 lines that you know that this 4 or 5 lines can be able to accommodate that your comment. But there's still no harm in it if you continue with A11 III, A3, and later come back to AII. But you need to notice that this particular one that you are making an attempt on is AII. So you can leave a space for that particular question that you think you don't know as at that point that you are writing that solution. Leave it. Then when you finish the whole examination on all the one that you're having strength upon, then you will now relax. Come back to all these little points that you know that you have not covered. Then by that time, you have time. What time do you have? You have time to rethink and look at it very well before you make an attempt. So that is my suggestion on that. I hope I've been able to attend to that question before moving on.
Yes, please carry on, sir.
All right, now the don'ts. And these don'ts, they are self errors that we do make during the examination. We have been guided on how to approach the examination. Then the don't that you need to now focus on is that first thing, don't commit any error in the do's that you are having, in all the do's that you have. Do not try as much as possible not to commit error from the do's. And what are the errors? The first one is that if you want to attempt a question, you have to look at the requirements. Then from the requirements, you see that from that requirement, you know that you need this, you need this, you need that. The next thing is that I want to attempt that question. Now, in attempting that question, the first thing you need to remember again is that which company am I preparing this document for? Is it for Tanimowo or Ajanle Koko or Alvan Ekoku? Write the name of the company. That is one of the don'ts. Do not forget to write all the requirements. That is one of the don'ts, because they are self-errors. They are self-errors. Another don't is, second don't, avoid cancellation. Try as much as possible to avoid cancellations. Are we there? Avoid cancellations. The moment you started question, you start attempting your question, and immediately you find out that you are missing out from a particular information you needed. You don't know where you can get that information. Maybe when you are planning, you thought, this question you are familiar to it, just like Mr. Inyoda mentioned that, please look at question very well. You don't need to cram. What you need is a process. Once you understand the process, follow the process. Maybe by the point or by the time you start attempting the question, you now see one of the requirements that you are stuck out of. If it is at early stage that you are attempting that question, that you identify that something is holding you tight, not for you not to continue, it is very easy for you. Maybe you just started one line, then about to continue on the second line, and you identify that you are canceling that particular portion. Maybe on the third line or on the fourth line, you want to continue again. Maybe you think that you have understood what you are about to do. At that stage again, you find out that I'm still stuck again. You cancel. Please, at that point, you have to calm down, relax, go back to your plan. Which one did I say that I'm having best capacity on first? Maybe you have done question one, first question, you have attempted second question, maybe on the third question now that you think that will be the next preference for you. You've done line 1, line 2, line 3. You are stopped, you cancel. You go ahead with line 4, line 5. You think that this thing you are writing is also wrong, you cancel. For you not to be stuck out, it's better for you to leave that question at that moment. Leave it. Go out of that question. Leave the whole line, the whole page that you've started cancellation. Because if you continue on that manner, you will find yourself attempting few, cancel few, attempt another few, cancel another few. That will demoralize your examiner. Your examiner may not have interest in marking that script. Even if the examiner wants to mark, to justify their marking, you are not giving that examiner that room at the starting point of marking that examination. Another don't is don't write with tiny fonts. Do not write with tiny fonts. If this is your first time of writing this examination, please, you have to go back to your notes. Look at what is the font of your handwriting. If your font is if your font is 6, please, you have to increase your font to 9. Do not write in smaller fonts. Make your handwriting to be very legible and clear. Let us assume that my examiner is using glasses. Sorry to say. Let's assume it's not that it's a crime or it's an offense or for the examiner to be using glasses. But let's assume that these are the one of my examiner is using lens. Let's make an assumption of that. So if my examiner is using lens and I wanted to write, I'm now writing with font 2. Please don't write in small fonts. Let your handwriting be legible and clear enough. Let your handwriting be legible. Do not write in what? Small fonts. And do not write combining your words. Give space. Let your handwriting be very legible. And lastly, as part of the don'ts, this is for the exam hall. This last aspect of the don'ts in the exam hall is that for those that are just writing the examination, not only those that are just writing the examination, but I will make emphasis on those that are just writing the examination more, because if this is your first time of coming to the examination, you don't need to be panicked that they said this ICAN exam is so hard. No, but just go with you yourself and sit on your own. Do not communicate with third party. You are not allowed, because this is not a combined exam. You pay for your own exam individually. You don't have third party to come and sit down for you, or you don't bring your brother. Even if you and your brother are sitting side by side, please do not communicate with each other. Do not communicate with each other. Another one, in the exam hall, do not write on your question paper. Do not write on your question paper. Do not write on your question paper. Lastly, follow all do we call them examiner or invigilators? Follow all invigilators, what is it called? Advice or instructions. Follows all invigilators' instructions. Sit down here. This is not my number. And I don't need to sit here. They can have reason for them to rearrange you, even if the number that is posted on your table is not where your number is supposed to be. They can rearrange. Follow their instruction. Stand up. Let me have what you are having in your bag. Give all instruction. Follow all instruction given. And to round everything up, please, when you are going for your examination, always remember all your writing materials. I know some of us till now, we do not have calculator, and you want to write SFM. You are not helping yourself. Some of us among ourselves, we still know ourselves. You don't have calculator. You have been borrowing calculators from the start of the exam. Some of us did not even make an attempt to even punch while during the class to confirm some of these figures if they are correct. Maybe during their revision, they now discover that this figure is not correct. Why is this like this? But if you are not practicing with that your calculator, because I will share your experience. Somebody that is not having calculator, planning to have the calculator 2 days before the examination, now get that calculator on the way. Even some of us will even buy the calculator at the entrance of the examination hall. Now entering the examination hall, the calculator now fuck up. You may even test the calculator where you bought it, it's working. But you enter the examination hall, you press 2, calculator is showing you 5. Please, you need to be familiar with the calculator you want to use from now as you are doing your revision before you even go to the examination. So let the calculator fuck up now, so that you will know that this calculator is not to be used before the examination. Then when you are going, always remember your calculator, your pencil. Please try as much as possible to get pencil. It is necessary. Your pencil can also be part of what you will be using to do your planning. Go with your calculator, your pencil, your cleaner, then your biro. Please, minimum of 3 pens. Minimum. Have minimum of 3 pens. You can buy new biro now, and you enter the examination now. As you are writing, the biro might fuck up again. And that 3 biro you are going with, advise as well. Let it be of the same type. Thank you all. This is my submission.
That's a great submission. Thank you very much, Mr. Wahab. I'm sure our listeners are happy to listen to you. At this point, I'd like to welcome 3 questions so that we can move to the next speaker. Thank you. Compassion. I'm taking your question first. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I deeply appreciate this, well, I call it a seminar or an exposure. It's very it's an eye opener. I've written the exam. I tried writing last diet, and out of the 3 subjects, I was able to pass 2 of it. And I appreciate IoT a great deal, the lecturers. And then I also want to thank you people that the complaints we made the last diet, they were taken into consideration, and a lot changed. I want to start by appreciating Ayanda, because I got to know this IoT through him. I was browsing my YouTube, and then I saw this corporate governance and this thing in corporate strategic management and ethics. And I loved the way he took it. I listened to the whole, I was like, come on. Since I'm looking for where to go for these classes, let me just join these people. That was how I came to IoT. I want to bring that to fore. There's something Mr. Wahab said. He said something, one of the don'ts. He said, don't go below 60. Please, what is wrong about that? Because we have very busy schedules, some of us, and we struggle to read. Like, I practically struggle. Like, I tell myself, you just have to. You're not the only one. You just have to, And then I'm telling myself, come on, just cross 50 and then you're fine. So what is wrong about it? I just want to know. That's my main question here.
Okay. So thank you for that question.
Mr. Wahab.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, before you answer, let's also thank Mr. Ayanda for
Mr. Inyonda. So thank you for that recommendation.
Just on the lighter mood.
Mr. Ayonda, you are highly recognized. We appreciate you. Paulina, then thank you for your observation and for you having that believing ICAN online tutor. And truly, we are there. And for the other thing that you also mentioned, that we've tried as much as possible to be able to resolve part of the complaints that students raised in the previous diet. So we keep on improving. So back to your question, that why do we need to put ourselves on a limit of minimum of 60%? We shouldn't go below 60%. And the reason is just simple. You are setting a target. You need to set targets. What do we even call targets? In most cases, we look at targets to be something to set an action or an event to the extent that we will not be able to achieve something that we think that it is not achievable. That is what we usually look at to be a target. That is, first thing, something that is achievable, then we will now set ahead of what is achievable. That is the target. And why do you need to set your target above what you know that you can achieve? The reason behind it is that if you are having a target of 60%, you need to work towards meeting up with what? With that 60%. Plus or minus, if you are not to meet up with that 60%, it should not be lower to it. Lowest, you must break even. That is what we call that target. And now, if you are not setting your target, plus or minus, somebody may be saying that because I wanted to write the examination, I'm having a lot of tasks. Fine. You are having your objective. If you are having objective and you're also having what is called constraints, you have to look at how are you going to overcome this. If you set your targets to be 50%, you will be very wrong. Please do not set your target to be 50%. Do not, if you're having that in your mind, change that view, change that opinion. Even if you are not setting your target to be 60%, we at IoT, we believe you. We have that belief and courage in you that you can even score 80%. You can score 80%. But you yourself, you need to be self-determined. you have to be self-determined that that target, you have to achieve it. So if you are setting lower targets, that means that lower target, you are still telling yourself that plus or minus, I need 50. That means if anything should happen on the long run, that means that target will be affected or may be affected. And that is why you usually have a forecast. A forecast, we make a projection. And that projection that you are making, what do we usually do to it? We look at other factors that may hinder that projection. And that is why we usually have inflation. Please, you have to inflate your targets. If you're having 50% target now, you have to inflate it to 70%. So if any factor can affect it, market condition, inflation, work overload, please still increase that your target to 70%. So if any factor is going to affect it, if you are to reduce, you reduce by maybe 1 to 2%. Please change that mindset. Move your target upward.
Mr. Wahab, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Wahab. I'm sure compassionate really got nice compassion. Thank you for the compassionate. So just to add,
Yes.
right? Just to add, this goes to every one of us. Let's set the bar high. Let's set our target high. Even though we know that the schedule is so busy, we're all struggling to read, we're all struggling to learn, just give yourself a minimum of 60% as ICAN partner. I can assure you that if you want to go below, it should be around, say, 55 or 59. But if you just give yourself 50%, maybe you might end up with 49. I have one of my guys then, so talented guy that had 49. That was so painful. I pray that will not be our portion. Thank you, everyone. So I would like to take Ekeng question. Is it Ekeng or Ekeng? Can you help me with the right pronunciation?
It's pronounced Echeng.
Okay. Is that a Nigerian name or Chinese name?
Oh, maybe a China name in Nigeria.
you. Okay,
Anyway,
welcome, China man.
Yeah,
go ahead with your question, sir.
You people have been wonderful. I have to appreciate all of you for what you have been doing. Though this time around, even though I registered for this to be part of the lectures, I miss it all because of time difference between UK and Nigeria. When I'm back from work, the lecture is finished. But I appreciate all the materials people have given. I hope I will be able to use it. But there is this aspect of it that even last time I asked of it, where they say open-ended questions, and they normally bring in things like maybe the Nigerian economy or digital economy and all those things. But I noticed that we have never had the opportunity of discussing these things with in IoT in such a way that one can have the confidence that you know what you are talking about. So I don't know, because like a lot is happening in Nigeria, which anybody could suspect that they can come hitting with it. For example, CBN policy, exchange this and that and that and that. But we will not be having that. Thank you very much. Was that got it?
Mr. Blasis, are you there? Mr. Hafiz.
Okay. Okay, maybe I should answer that, right?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
So one of the quality of ICAN online tutors is we are multitasking. I'm not a baby father. What do you call them? So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm driving at the same time. Okay, so Mr. Ikeng, as we mentioned, well, some of these things are actually beyond us. I can give you public sector accounting and taxation, for instance. So what we used to tell our students is that when you know we have conventional issues that happen in the country, say within the last 1 to 2 years, and it has never been tested in the exam before now, we advise students to just have good understanding of it. So for some of us as lecturers, we used to look into them but not as detailed as what we have in the syllabus. So going forward, we will take that into consideration. But something is constant here. We cannot tell those conventional topics until the event has happened. For instance, now they will ask questions around policies on CBN, Naira change, and modification, right? And this capitalization of retained earnings within the microfinance sector. So anyone that is writing what's it called, SFM, we always want to prepare around that. We know a lot of changes that has happened in the taxation planet, right? We can also further our studying around that. So we as lecturers are also doing our best to cover those areas, but we cannot be too certain because we can only focus 100% on the syllabus. And when that is attained, we don't jump to conventional issues. That is my submission. I don't know if Mr. Ridwan or any other lecturers have one or two input to add here. Thank you.
Mr. Ridwan, any other contribution, sir?
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Mr. ICAN, I think he just left the call. Was that a mistake?
No, maybe he raised his hand.
Yeah, I don't think. Okay, I think he just raised his hand. Yeah.
I'm still around.
Okay. Yeah. So, thank you very much, Mr. Abdulhafiz, for that response. I think you hit the nail on its head. So, basically, yes. As regards contemporary issues that are happening in the Nigerian ecosystem and the Nigerian economy and the Nigeria and the rest of the world at large, ICAN is at liberty to test you as regards that, and you will find this in your syllabus. So usually within 6 months of such happenings, ICAN might test questions as regards that. And of course, I want to believe, because I've observed in the past, and I want to believe it's still ongoing among the tutors, which we also try to train ourselves and educate ourselves in-house on this. So I remember one of the diets, I think it was November 2015 or maybe May 2016. ICAN tested treasury single accounts. And this was just some months after the Buhari administration had implemented it. So they asked for the merits and the demerits and the meaning of it. So if you check your Pathfinder, Public Sector Accounting and Finance, so you will find this question there. So ordinarily, we expect tutors to talk about it in their classes, but also we expect students also to be familiar with the happenings in their environment. So listening to news, reading articles, following trends in the Nigerian economy is important, especially for courses like public sector accounting and finance, and also for courses like taxation and advanced taxation also. This is also important, keeping yourself abreasted with changes in the tax laws, which is also very important. Yes. So other than this, in the future, we would organize maybe a kind of webinar or seminar where we would also be keeping the general IoT community aware of these happenings. So that is it for my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Hafiz, back to you, sir. Mr. Hafiz, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there 100%. Can you take that again, please?
No, you are to continue.
Okay, good.
As
So the
the
last I said
moderator.
I'm taking 3 questions. We've taken 2 so far. So Perpetua, your question, ma.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for this wonderful program. Thank you for all you do at IoT, bringing the ICAN lectures to our doorstep, because some of us are due to our location, we are not able to get ICAN center easily. So thank you very much. So my question is, like in writing the ICAN exam, there are some times that we do in terms of preparing to answer the questions. Maybe as you are preparing, you'll be jotting some things down at the back of your answer sheet. I want to know, after everything, when you finish answering your questions, are you meant to cancel those things or you leave it there? Then secondly, I want to ask, in a case study exam, because the case study sheet is already numbered, I want to know if we are still going to number our pages. That's in case study exam. That's the question. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Blavis, am I permitted to attempt to the first question?
Yes, please. You can even take the 2 questions. We are in here together. Thank you.
All right. So I think I have a strength. Let me practice what I preach here. I'm having strength on the first question. So let another person take the second question, possibly the case study lecturer or the guru. So the first question, in planning your solution, you're having a plan page at the back of your question paper, sorry, answer booklet. So at the end of the whole computation, please always remember to cross it out. Always remember to cross it out. And the essence of it is that, one, it doesn't add to your mark in any form, because you just use it as a form of working note or a plan, which will be at the back, at the last page of your answer booklet. So because the examiner may not be thinking maybe you have passed your answer booklet to somebody to help you to write something at the back. So please always remember to cross your plan at the back of your answer booklet. Cross it out in totality to make it clear that this is a plan work, not that it is being generated from any other source. You are the owner of your answer booklet. So, and it doesn't have any additions to your mark or to your solutions that you have done. So you can always cross it out after the whole examination. But if by exam hour or the rush hour too, maybe you think you may forget to cross it out after the whole exam, you can be doing that at the end of each planning. Maybe you are planning your question 1 at the back. After the question 1, you have solved everything, finished. Go back to your working page or your plan page, cross it out. Cross it out. Then, if by any other means you forgot to cross it, there's still no harm about that, because examiner will just mark you according to, examiner will open pages by pages. Examiner will not start from the back, rather examiner will start from the front. So you may not also have any penalty on that as well. So that's my submission. Mr. Blavis or Mr. Oriyomi.
Yes, I'm here. Of course, I think I'll go with Mr. Oriyomi. Then I'll take comment from Mr. Inyoda. The 2 of them are our case study guru. So, Mr. Oriyomi, if you are here, please, very quickly, can you help us to respond to the question? Very quick. Thank you.
Sorry, please, I missed the question. Can you repeat it? I missed that part, please.
Okay. So, one of the attributes of Perpetua is doing the same thing over and making it sweet. Perpetua, can you please repatriate your question?
Okay, concerning the case study, concerning the case study, I asked because the case study answer sheet is numbered, paged. So are we still going to number our answer sheets? Like, and if we are going to number it, where do we start from? Because there are some reports that I go through, they don't start from cover page. They will leave the cover page, then maybe start from executive summary as page 1. I want to really understand that page numbering case study. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much for bringing this. I shall be attending to that as stated, and as well as I'm the case study instructor. I'm also part of the case study instructor. Yeah, though your answer booklets would have already been numbered. However, you have to number it by writing page 1, and you are starting from the cover page. I always suggest you number it at the bottom right-hand corner. It's just that I cannot share my screen. If you look at all the reports that I shared, you will always see it that it have page numbering. And your page numbering starts from what? Cover page. Because that is your what? Page 1. That is where your report, the answer to the requirement is starting from. Cover page. Your cover page, you know how it should be structured. So you have, if the numbering in the answer booklet, you know it's a leaflet that have a detached leaflet that have front and back. They might have number it 1, 2, 3, irrespective. If they number it at the bottom, just ensure that you put your page numbering under, that is below. And you know, we have where they usually call margin, where they will say do not write on the margin. The bottom of that margin, that is where you'll be numbering. Bottom right hand corner, that is the right hand side at the bottom of that booklet is where you will number page 1, turn it over page 2. And I always advise that you number from page 1 to 20. And you start your cover page from your page 1. Executive summary will take page 2 and 3. Your introduction will take page 4 and 5. Then from your 6 to at least page 19 should take your requirement 1 and requirement 2, while you are starting your appendix from page 20. That is the standard format that is given. You have to follow suit. That's it. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yom. I appreciate.
Thank you. Mr. Yoda, are you willing to add 1 or 2 input to this also?
I think Mr. Yoda is not on board.
Okay, he's not on the call. So thank you so much, Mr. Wahab, for your time. And I have to be honest with you, that's a beautiful presentation from you. Now we are going to our next panelist. The next person will be calling on to the podium to discuss with us the do's and don'ts of ICAN exam is Mr. Akinibi Oluwatosin. Over to you, Mr. Akinibi Oluwatosin.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Please confirm you can hear me.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, so I'm to discuss the do's and don'ts of ICAN exams. Yeah, just like an introduction, I'm Oluwatosin Akinibi. So I will be speaking straight to about 6 points, 3 under each of do's and don'ts of ICAN exams. So starting with the do's, the first one I would like to mention is that you do your best. That's very important. You may not be 100% ready for the exam. So, but with what you've done so far, there is high possibility that you are going to pass. So what is important is you just doing your best and look through what you've done so far, what are the courses you are very weak in, then try to allocate more time to those courses. And part of doing your best, that may not be relevant now, because I always advise at times you need to know yourself and understand yourself. And ICAN makes it easy for you in the sense that you can decide on the number of courses to write. So right from the onset, you should know based on your strength and your capacity and based on your time. Timing is also important because most of us are working, and you know how available you are to to study. So you may need to decide, even if you have to do 3 courses out of 5, for example, in professional, you need to do you need to share some some exams into 2, maybe do 2, 3 courses and all. So those are important things you need to consider before now. But right now that you've already known that, okay, these are the number of courses you're writing. So look at the courses, how prepared are you in each of those courses, and try to allocate your time to reduce the chance of not passing any of those courses. Then, yeah, that leads to the next point, which is know your strengths and weak spots. Either from the point of view of a course or from the point of view of all the courses you are writing. For a course, for example, before you get into the exam hall, it's best for you to know, okay, out of all the topics we have in this course, what are the topics that there's no how they will tweak the question, you will definitely answer the questions on this topic very well. Because when I'm preparing for exams, right from before entering the exam hall, I know that top questions or any question from any particular topic I have strength in or that is my strength. I don't know how they will tweak it. I know for sure I will answer it well. So you need to understand those topics so that even it will make it easy for you to make decision in the exam hall. That while reading through, you see some questions from some topics. You already know that definitely this is part of the questions you answer. And you need to also read the additional information to be sure that there are no tweaks. But if you are very good in that topic, the chances that you'll be able to answer the question well, regardless of any tweaks that comes with the question. So know those topics and also know those ones you are not that strong in and see how you can, what is the major areas in those topics that are very difficult for you, and how you can quickly at least reduce your weakness, because at the end of the day, you may need to answer questions even on topics that is not your area of strength, because you need to answer, depending on the level, I think you need to answer about 4 questions. Luckily, you may have 2 out of it or 3 that comes out from your strong areas. So, but you still need to answer some questions depending on luck. At times, if you have, for example, 20 questions or 20 topics or 25 in a course, the chances that they may touch on about 15 or 10 out of those topics. So it's a matter of, at times, the exam is about you doing the calculations, you strategizing, okay, out of all these topics, at least have enough topics that are your strengths, and also look at the trends in past questions. Look at what I can love to set as compulsory questions, and make sure or try your best to ensure that that's part of your strengths. You get. But if unfortunately questions or the compulsory one comes from topics that are not part of your strength, then based on the advice we've gotten so far, you may need to start from other questions that you are very good at, and for that one that comes out that is compulsory, you have to do it because you need to follow instructions. You have to do it whether you like or not. Just do your best to answer the question you get. So that's very important because at the end of the day, yeah, based on the targets that you have in front of you, 60%, and ICAN pass mark is 50%. So just do your calculations that, okay, let's say the compulsory question is usually 40 marks, if I'm not wrong. So we have especially for skills and professionals. So, you have 60 marks in other questions. If you know other areas very well, try to get as much marks as possible in those. But for the compulsory one, you still need to get some marks to increase your chance of performing well. So in short, make sure you are familiar with all topics, but know your area of strength so that you can get the maximum marks in those areas, and at least pick out some marks here and there in other questions that you are not 100% good at. So also the last points I have here for your dues is manage your time, both in terms of preparation and in terms of the exam on the exam day. You need to manage your time properly, and that's to emphasize the need for you not to spend too much time on a particular question. Don't forget, take note of the time allocated to each of these questions. Recently in an exam I wrote about 2 weeks ago, so I had to decide whether to leave a question, even despite the fact that I was not done with the question. I had to leave it because I look at, okay, what is the mark I could get on this particular question if I go ahead to continue doing it. I knew to an extent the answer to the question, but not 100% sure. So I had to decide to move to another question that I'm 100% sure that I could get everything in that question. So at times you need to make decision as you go on in the exam, or depending on the time you have. And it's best to have a time, though the invigilators can keep you updated on the time you have left, but you can't rely on them to plan your time. It's best to have maybe a wristwatch that you can monitor your progress. Preferably allocate that, okay, if you are answering a particular question, how long are you going to work on that question? Because this is very important. At times you'll be tempted to continue working on the question because you know it, but possibly you are making little mistakes that is not making you arrive at a good point to leave the question, and you have to keep on canceling and going back to correct. No, you don't need to waste your time on that. So just allocate time that, okay, if you are using just 40 minutes on a question, once it's 40 minutes, don't worry yourself. At least even if you didn't get to the final answer, for all the things you've done, for the steps you've gone through, they will give you some marks for those. And it's best to at least attempt other questions so that you don't waste all your time on just one. So yeah, I think those are very important things I have to mention about what you need to do, both for preparation and for when you get into the exam. So for the don'ts, first, you need to don't ignore instructions. It's very important, and that starts from instructions on the exam booklets. Even because it's a standard exam, so you even know the likely or the normal instructions that you see, which is, okay, answer maybe number 1 compulsory and answer 2 out of whatever number of questions they were asking in the second part. So all those instructions are very important. Follow the instructions. And I know a particular question has been coming up today regarding if you know some parts, for example, you know maybe 1A, 1B, you don't know C or D. So the strategy I use for that in the exam is I look at first, I start with what are the questions, out of all these questions, what are the ones I know for sure? Let me say 100%, yeah, 100% that I'll get it right and I'll get all the marks here. So those are the ones I prioritize first. So depending on the questions I estimate that, okay, I could get, if for example, I know A and B for certain in question 1, question 2, I know maybe C and D, what are the marks for those sub questions? What are the marks? When I add them together, which are the ones that gives the highest mark? So those are the ones I would prioritize doing. Then also, if there are ties, what I do is other ones that I'm not sure of, at least to an extent, which one do I feel I could get that I could get more marks answering. So that's how I decide whether to answer question 1 or 2 or 3. So the ones that gives me the highest mark based on what I feel I know and what I feel like would rough out and bring out something meaningful to get something out of the examiner. So that's how I approach such in exam. So also, you must not ignore the instructions of the invigilators or those that have been in exam or guiding you. You have to follow the instructions. Then the next advice is don't panic. Don't panic. At times we feel there's this exam anxiety that comes to us when we want to write exams, especially if it's your first time. But you don't need to panic at all. Just as I've advised earlier, do your best. Once you prepare well for the exam and you've attended lectures, you've spared some time to at least go over the curriculum to know some stuff, some things about the course, most likely you are going to pass. So you don't need to panic. You don't need to panic. Just do your best. Then don't stop trying to improve your answers until exam time is completely exhausted. There was a diet I wrote then that I think it was professional level. For audit, I did all the exams to an extent that I felt I've passed this exam. And when the result came out, it was that audit that I felt, even there are some questions that I didn't bother answering because I felt with what I've done so far, I don't need to rush and I didn't need to stress myself again that I've passed. And it was just about, I think, about 4 or 6 marks question. When the result came out, I had 48%. If I had attempted that question, that could have, I would have just been one of the few that passed the whole course for that diet, for my diet then. And there was this particular exam, SFM. For that diet, it was really crazy. That in the exam, even I was so tired and scared of the exam because I even felt that was the course I was going to fail in that diet. And the result came out, I passed 4 out of the 5 courses I wrote. SFM, I was expecting not to pass. I passed it. I had 50 on dots. Meanwhile, audits, I was expecting that I should even win prize if possible. I had 48. So that's why I would advise you, don't stop trying to improve your answers until exam time is completely exhausted. Just keep on improving your answers. You don't know. That may be the saving grace to scale through. So, and lastly, don't cancel out answers until you have completed a better replacement. Yeah, this is very important. At times you discover that okay, you make one or two mistakes while working on a particular question. So when you want to, rewrite or you want to re-answer the question, don't cancel out what you've done so far. Make sure you are done with the replacement before you cancel out the answers you no longer need. The reason for this is you may not have the time to even do as much as you've done earlier. And with the mistakes, even it's still possible for them to mark your steps, even if you've made mistakes in your process to getting your answer, they will still mark, okay, you are in line, just that the examiner will also see that, okay, you made a mistake here, but they may mark other things that you've done. So it's best, if at all you want to change your answers, make sure you finish the replacement before you cancel out your wrong or the answers you want to take out. And preferably try to have answered other questions first before you start changing any answer, due to you may not have adequate time you may not have the luxury of time to still be able to complete other sections of the exam. So I will stop here and yeah, over to you, Adebenko.
Thank you very much, Talua, to see for presentation. I'd like to take 3 questions as usual. Faith Mala, I can see your hand up. Please go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello. So I want to really appreciate you for this seminar section. So what I want to ask is, I don't know if at the end of this section there will be a bit recap, because my network was all actually bad. So I joined late. I joined at the last agenda, which the lecturer just concluded. So I want to ask if there will be a bit summary of the earlier ones agenda before now. Hello?
Yeah, your network is actually very bad. I'm struggling to hear you, but I think you want to get the agenda, maybe a recorded session after this call, right? So the call is live and it is also recorded. So it's something you can always play back to listen to those points that you have missed.
It's okay. It's fine then.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So do we have any other question from anyone? I can only see one person has raised, and that is Faith Mala, and the question has been asked. Okay. We have to move to the next speaker. The next speaker is IT. Madam ID, are you there? Over to you, please. Thank you. Is ID on the call? Okay. Mr. Wasim Sani, are you on the call? Please confirm if you can hear me. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I hear you.
So we have 2 more speakers to speak, then we can close out for the day. So we have ID and we have Abdulwasi Sani. Do we have any of these speakers on the call, please? So you can take it up and we can close for the day. Time has been fast spent. I think, please, Mr. Ridwan, can you confirm if ID and Wasi is on the call, please?
Can I confirm what?
If ID and Wasi are on the call. I've been calling them and I can't get any response.
No, I doubt it. Okay,
And ID.
ID, no, she's not on the call. But let me request for her to join now. I sent a request to her.
Okay.
Let me see what's you.
So while we wait for our two panelists, do we have any question that you want us to respond to on this call? Anybody? Any hand raised? Okay, no hand up. So let's wait for them to join us.
Any general question? General question.
Okay. So I want to ask, during the exam, is there any section where we're going to use a system to maybe log in our name or to sign or to compute anything? Maybe
Not at all, ma. At the moment, ICAN exam is 100% P&P, pencil and paper. So we do have CBT at the moment. Is that taking, ma? You are most welcome. Any other general question? While we wait for our speakers.
Yes, please. My hand is up.
Okay, please go ahead, ma. Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to ask, for those that have not registered for this ICAN exam, how do we go about it?
Okay, Mr. Ridwa, do you want to speak to that? We have our IT support here. They can pick up the question and response to it. Okay, so if I can just give a quick response to that. Registration for ICAN exam is still on. Yes, so you can make payment via payment platform, pay direct, or you pay through bank, then go into login and obtain your ID and other information. So it's still the same procedure. So the registration is still on. I'm not sure it's closed as of now. So may God provide for all of us. Any other general question, please?
I think it's closing on the 3rd.
Yeah.
The registration is closing on the 3rd of
this month. So thank you. So we have about just 2 days to go. All I can say is God will provide. So let us know on time if you need our support. Let us know on time. We are here to service you, to support you on your ICAN journey. Okay, let me speak to the past question of 18 again, since no one is asking question. While we wait for the lecturers. You have your hands raised. Okay, go ahead, ma. Chinda.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir. I just want to ask, confirm particular information I learned earlier on. I learned that you don't wear wristwatch to the exam hall. Is it true? We're talking of apportioning time to the questions.
No, I'm not sure I'm aware of that. It's a professional exam that is meant for adult people, not for secondary school students. So you can wear whatever you like.
No,
Hello.
it's not allowed any longer. They don't allow it again.
No.
I can't don't
It's
allow
no longer allowed.
No.
Wristwatch is allowed.
No.
Not again.
Yes.
Not
No,
again.
use
Well,
the provided
at
to
every
work
center.
by
I
the
hope they will
regulator.
provide clock or work clock for
yes,
us.
there's
Yeah.
Of course,
Yes.
there's work clock centers. For the
So
past 2
on a
years
lighter
now,
note,
they
is it
have
that am I old? So you cannot wear
wristwatch to ICAN exam again?
No.
Yes, for the past 2 years
I'm
now, it
sorry
has
I
been
didn't know
banned.
that. I'm sorry I didn't know that. We cannot know everything. Wow.
Then part of my general question.
Okay. So okay, I think I have another person's hand up.
Yes.
Ugwen or Igwen. So what's the right pronunciation, please?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
The name is Eugene.
Eugene, thank you.
Okay, my question
Go
is
ahead,
this.
sir.
I registered for the first time in the foundation classes, so I made my registration payment 3 days ago. So when I contacted the customer service, I was informed that I won't be able to write this diet. That my registration came in late and it can't be processed for this diet. So I wanted to ask, is there anything that can be done? I don't know. I'm very prepared for this diet and I don't know.
Let us, can we take this off before? Please, I'm on the business law group. You can chat me. You can chat any of our customer person or our MD, Mr. Idwan. So we see what we can do regarding that. I don't think I have a specific response to that here on the call. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sarah Aminu, do you have any question, ma? Your hand is up.
Yes, I do. Good afternoon, everyone.
Please go ahead. I need that kind of voice now. Everywhere is it here.
Thank you, sir. My
Yeah,
question is
welcome,
directed to okay, Ms. Ayomite. I don't know, for financial reporting, do we leave a page and write the workings, or it's possible we start with the workings on the first page? Let's assume I'm starting with consolidated financial statement. Obviously, I'm to do some workings before I prepare the financial statement. So is it fine I do the workings on the first page, then prepare the financial statement on the second page? And then if he says no, so how is a page enough? Just assuming, is a page enough for the financial statements? So if I'm leaving a page, is that enough to put in the financial statements?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Your mind, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
It's always possible that when you are solving a question, especially in financial and corporate reporting, for you to actually start with the solution, why the workings will come underneath. Let's take, for instance, you are asked to prepare SOFP, SOCI, SOCE, for instance, and you know that all these things we also have adjustments. So it is always advisable when you start with solution directly. For instance, let's say Sarah PLC, consolidated statement of financial position. Then one page should cover for SOFP, and the next page, which is one page, should also cover for SOCI and SOCE. Then that is if the question is SOFP, SOCI, and SOCE. Then we can now use the third page to start your workings from it, because if you're starting with workings, you cannot adequately measure the numbers of pages it will take. That's why it's always advisable to even start with the solution. The examiner will even see the solution. That is why from the solution, you'll be referring to the words, to the working notes therein. And you can also be working alongside. That's just it. Thanks so much for that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Yomai. Chizom Ogodo, go ahead with your question, sir.
I'm sorry, I've already asked my question already.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry, Mr. Office, to interrupt. So for those of you that still want to register for exams, it's still possible. 3rd of May is the end date for payments. Then maybe next week will be the end date for registration. I'm not sure, but if you want to register, I would advise you make payment as soon as possible. If you want us to assist you, you can reach out to our admin, our customer support on 070-4457-6011. I will drop the number in the chat box. Yes, I will drop the number in the chat box. Yeah, I've sent it there. So you can reach out to her if you want us to assist you with the registration. So I just confirmed from her that the end date is 3rd of May. All right, you can go ahead, Mr. Face. Thanks.
Okay, so since we could not get ID and Abdulwasi on the call, and I think we can, from my own end, I think I'm good and the students are fine too. But let me take 2 more questions that we can wrap on the program. So I want to take one more from Eken and another one from Adekemi. Let's try to make it very quickly as possible so that we can close for the day. Thank you. Mr. Eken.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question was just about the solution to the practice questions we have in the CRO. We've been trying to see if we can still get it before this time. So, because it will serve as a guide.
No problem. That's noted. Myself and the CR team will get that across to you. Thank you. So, Madam Adekemi Otunola, the question, please.
Good afternoon, sir. So,
Good afternoon, madam.
Yes, I want to confirm if we can make use of the scientific calculator, and if yes, is there any type of scientific calculator? Because we have different types of scientific. So I want to know.
Thank you. Do we have anyone that can help so that I will not give a wrong response?
Okay, please let
Just
me.
like I said, phone is
Yes.
resource is allowed.
Yes.
Have they taken calculator
Yes.
again?
No program.
Yes, you can use any calculator, either scientific or non-scientific. So far, you are not putting
No,
it
I don't
to
think it's. Sorry, Mr. Yomi. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't think it's any calculator. Programmable calculators are not allowed. So there is so you can go with scientific, but it shouldn't be programmable. So by programmable, they mean that probably you can store information on that calculator. I think there used to be one calculator we used to use in those days.
I remember.
Forgetting the name. I think it's Purple. I think it's called Purple or something. So it's scientific, but it's programmable. People could save maybe formulas on it. There was also some Casio that could do that also. So it's not allowed. And I guess that's the reason why they are stopping wristwatches also. But I actually feel they should have stopped, they should have permitted maybe analog wristwatches. So because some wristwatches today, you can also put information on it. In fact, you can put your whole study pack on it because they have applications that smartwatches, you can do a lot with it. So I guess, over time, they get this trick that people that are trying to cheat use. And because of that, they stop all these things. So programming, make sure the calculator you are taking into the exam is not programmable. Very important.
Thank you.
And since wristwatches are not allowed also, you have to be very time conscious. That's just the truth. I don't know whether they will hang work logs around, or maybe they will notify you, because in some exams they won't notify you of the time. The examiner will just tell you 10 minutes more, or be rounding up, or 5 minutes or 1 minute to go. And at that point, you'll be shocked that you spent so much time. So for me, wristwatch has always been a guide for me when I took ICAN exams. And maybe 1 or 2 times I didn't use wristwatch, I regretted, because I was just writing, I was still on one question, I had maybe 5 questions to write, next thing I had 1 hour more. And you can imagine what happened to me, because I didn't even know I had spent like 2 hours on just one question. So you have to be very conscious of time. since they don't allow wristwatches again. But this is an issue I'm still going to escalate. I'm still going to talk to my colleagues. We have an association for tuition providers, which I believe we should take it to the management of ICAN to discuss them. They should discuss further on this, that they should allow certain wristwatches. Analog wristwatches doesn't bring any harm. So if it's analog, just on analog, not digital, then it should be allowed. I actually think it should be allowed.
We will appreciate if you can join and with team to discuss that, so that by next diet, I know we have people here that will move from foundation to skills to final, so they can enjoy that. Because that is also one of the applicability of time management. So by the time they have their wristwatch on them, they can actually allocate time to each of the questions effectively. So on a lighter note, wristwatch is not allowed. Certain calculator is not allowed because they want to prevent malpractice. What about going to the toilet to ease yourself? Is that allowed? Your mind. For some people, they know what the toilet is all about. When it comes to ICAN exam.
There's no restriction to that. However, there's monitoring with security guiding the person going to use the restroom, because it's also been observed that most students always hide their book, handouts, jotters, and the rest in the restroom. So that when they say they are going to the restroom, we use the excuse to discuss about the topic while they were in the restroom. So
somebody is smiling here.
That's
people
the
can
control.
relate.
Yes, that's the
okay,
control.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Ridwan, I'm done with the assignment given to me. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Thanks so much, everyone. And thank you so much, my moderator, Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe. It has really been a scintillating time having you on our session today. And thank you so much, everyone. I so much believe that you have all gained one or two things from today's session. And I have confidence that that's going to make a positive impact in our life and also our exam. As you can see that writing the exam, nothing for you to actually fear based on what each and every one of them has discussed with us today. And the first and foremost is to ensure that, one, you actually have confidence in yourself. There's nothing, great or small, that you can achieve without you building that confidence. Confidence actually comes first in everything. Have the belief that, yes, I can do it. If that person you are looking at can be chartered, why can't it be you? If your might can be chartered, why can't it be you? If Afis can be chartered, why can't it be you? If Iyanda can be chartered, why can't it be you? And if there's need to be, my dear, it is up to you. Everyone that has been a chartered accountant or has achieved that feast always have a story to tell. Your office is never an excuse. The challenges you are facing is not an excuse. It is part of what you need to cross to actually achieve that feast. At this pandemic time, I call it pandemic because 2 weeks to you, 2 weeks to us, let's be frank, is too short. That's why I call it a pandemic time or a pandemic period. However, irrespective of the shortness, you can still achieve a lot. Be confident and have a positive thought that you can do it. This moment that you have your defined plan and ensure that you make each day count. You don't let a day go by without you achieving one of the targets you have set for that day. Don't rush yourself. Slow and steady, you can still get it right. If you are doing 5 papers and you are picking it one in a day, my dear, is better for you. If you have 6 paper and you are picking it one in a day and 2 in one day, my dear, is best for you. And by that, just focus on what you have been told. At least minimum 5 last diet will not go wrong. But if you can do 10 diets, so be it, as you have initially been what advised. Mark your calendar to ensure that at least no matter how tired you are, no matter how turbulent your office is, no matter how the challenges is, you must achieve something for that day. And you will not even allow the day to slide without you having something to reckon on achieving. Then, my dear, while you are going through the Pathfinder or you are going through the lecture notes that is given to you, ensure you are looking at how the question are being solved. Most of the challenges of students is not that you do not know the question, but you do not really understand the requirement. Then, understanding the requirement, you do not even know how to structure your answer. To structure your answer, look at it. The method that has been given to you during the course of your lecture is actually how you can really answer your question. However, there's not everything have to be, what did I call it? It's not a one-way traffic, BRT. No, be strategic, and also be strategic in what you are doing. Be strategic is, if I do it for you in one way, and you can also do it in that way, which is in line with what you are taught within that scope, so be it. Especially SFM, PM, you know what it means. When we say there's no standard that guides it, just ensure that you know what you really want to solve and you solve it. However, I might solve it in one way, you might solve it in the other way, or we are getting the same thing. That's why you really need to familiarize yourself with the past question, examine the comment in order to improve on the shortfall that is mentioned by the word examiner. Above all, please take care of yourself. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe, Mr. Hafiz Adebimpe always have a saying. He will say that eat well, sleep well, and what did he always say? It's 3 things. Eat well, sleep well, and what is the other one? And take rest. And what is that eat well? While you are studying, ensure you don't miss your food. No, don't miss your food. And ensure you get enough sleep. Minimum hour, maximum 5 hours. 5 hours is actually a sound sleep. At least take a 5 hours relaxation. And while you are studying, if you see that your head is banging, or you could not assimilate again, walk away for a while by taking a break from that study. The maximum period you should sit to study should not exceed 2 hours. It should not exceed 2 hours. If you are sitting longer than 2 hours, my dear, it's either your bottom is aching you or your body self is aching you. And I always say, while you are studying, block your calendar. How can you say you are studying and people started calling you? My dear, you are not studying. You are only playing with the study. How can you say you are studying and you are watching karate, or you are listening to comedy, or you are studying and they are watching film, they are watching ball? When you hear go, your attention go to that go. When you hear yay, your mind go to that yay. My dear, you are not studying. To really study, be sincere with yourself. If you are in your office and your guy give you a task, and he tell you that within the next 1 hour, I want to receive this report, my dear, you will shun everything to ensure that you deliver that report in 1 hour. Do the same for yourself. Block us, block anything, my dear, nothing will suffer for that 2 hours that you will have for yourself. You only have 14 days to plan yourself and to do this. And my dear, there is no AOC anywhere. The AOC is your mindset. The AOC is what you have practiced. And while you are practicing, you cannot cover the entire syllabus. I'm never in the school of thought of that. And there's none of my speakers that also says that. However, while you are covering your syllabus, ensure you have idea over those topics or those areas you could not touch. Ensure you have idea. We have been saying, if I know question 1A, 1B, and I do not know 1C, and I really love one of my speakers that say that no matter what, you will get an idea from it. Use that idea to write it. Use that idea to write it. That is why they said you should not leave your book blank. And why would you? You have already paid for the exam. You've bought the paper, you've paid for everything. It is now yours. It's now your asset. Use it judiciously. Let your money count for you. The best way your money can count for you is to what? Is to ensure that you did not leave a book blank. And the best way not to leave a book blank is, even though you do not know the answer, whatever your mind can conceive at that moment, write it down. Don't argue with your mindset. Use your idea, write it down. Use your idea, put it down. There's nobody here that has not had anything. And if at all you could not even define and you know the formula, you can put the definition in form of the formula. That is why when you're checking your Pathfinder, you will see that there's some definition that they will even put in terms of a formula. Don't be too strict with yourself. Be lenient with yourself. Don't say, this one, I do not know it, I'm coming back. Who tell you, you will never come back to that exam again? Don't have that mindset. Have the mindset of, what can I derive from this? How can I make something out of this? And by that, when you know that your first task is for you not to leave your book blank, you will always want to write something. And for God so loved the world, one of our speakers says that you should jot down your point in your booklet. And when we get to the do's and don'ts, you were told that after jotting it down, cross it out. Please, that is really very much important. And above all, maximize your time. Be time conscious and also ensure that you pray. Prayer goes a lot in everything. Prayer goes a lot in everything. Do not underestimate the power of prayer. My dear, being short of time is never ideal. Being short of time is never ideal. It doesn't mean that with a flying color at this point. All you should be doing is anything that can
complete our conversation. No problem. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, is that for me? Sorry, are we together? So in any case, my dear all, do not panic. Don't lose your balance. Your composure is just as important as your strategy. And as long as both are really on the track, you will ace your ICAN paper with ease. That we can only confirm to you that it is certain. It may actually sound simple in theory, but we can confirm to you that everything that has been discussed, if you actually put them into practice, without an exception, you will really ace that your exam. Now, go into that exam hall and nail it. We believe in you. Also believe in yourself. And let this diet be your diet. And we pray that as you do so, may God grant you a beneficial knowledge, good understanding, sound retentive memory, and best of luck in your examination. Tell yourself,
Amen. Thank
you. And I will pass it. Tell yourself, this is my diet, and I will pass it.
My diet, I will pass it.
Thank you so much, my speakers. Thank you so much, my co-moderator, Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe. You know I love you so much, sir. And thank you so much, everyone that has been part of this session today, and you have really made it a memorable one. We say a very big thank you to every one of you. We shall draw the curtain here while we are expecting your testimony to start flowing in.
Amen, Mr. Yomite.
Amen.
Thank you very
Amen.
much. We appreciate. We appreciate.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bless you, sir.
Amen. Amen.
And nothing will ever deny you as you died. Thank you so much, everybody.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen.
Now, everybody. For those that are here
thank
to
you,
have
sir.
mock solution, you shall have it through your platform. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. You shall get it. Your instructor are not relent yet. And the platform is still open for you to ask any question. Ask question, ask anything. They are there to guide you. They are not on leave until you write your exam and you drop your pen. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye for now. It has really been a pleasure facilitating this section. Thank you and enjoy.
You know, the last one I asked a week ago.
Sorry, it's not the weekend. Sorry, happy workers' day to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.